Okay. Okay, here we go. We are live right now. Okay, we are live. Okay, let me post this on Twitter too. Okay. Okay, hello everyone. How you guys doing today? I hope everyone's having a great day today. Hi everyone. Hey Mr. Waifu Bunny, Sean, Emily, Eric, Golden Stripes. Hi everyone, Bori, S.A., Sui, He's, Xiao, Katarina Kai, Sean, Elsato Francisco. Hey everyone. Okay, just go, I'll protect you, I'm good, Rogan. How are you, man? Hope everyone's having a good Friday. It's the start of the weekend. I 100% Manhunt won this week. The CCPD and Cerberus missions can legit go to hell. I will not miss getting wasted by CCPD Mac 10s and M16 Cerberus, lol. Well, honestly, I'll tell you this, Mr. Waifu, and thank you for sponsoring my channel for almost 3 years. The worst mission Manhunt won for me. The worst mission in Manhunt 1 was that mission when you're trying to escape from the corrupt cops and, like, you're in that train yard. I think that's the worst mission. There's, like, barely any places to hide. I think that one was the worst one in the game. I'll reply to you after the stream, Blade of Stars. I'll message you on Twitter. No, I haven't gotten a chance to watch the Fallout show. I will, though. Hey, Oscar. Love your Fallout and Ace Attorney videos. Thank you, man. I'll have another Ace Attorney video tonight. Oh, how do you get the British training in, Ronin, Chess? Can you play Stars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2? I'll probably play those games, but I'll probably wait for the remasters to come out, because aren't the remasters supposed to come out soon? Because I know they've been in development for some time. Thank you, Sean, for the super chat. Oh, yeah, well, we're gonna do a second playthrough of Fallout 3 later this year. Maybe, like, October time. But we'll do an Evil Karma playthrough. Is there a maximum amount of money for Red Dead? I don't think so. I think you can just keep making as much money as you want. Why are these guys taking so long to check the cart? Bro, you like the case you're in? It's kind of weird, but it's okay. Honestly, I think that Rhymes had something to do with it. Because he hasn't been entirely truthful. No, what is that, Mason?
I will not tell you again, little bro. Most of these moonshiners on the phone.
Yeah, I know about that, Sean. They did increase the price of GTA Plus. Marlon Rhymes and OG Loke. A lot of people said they liked my rap because I read it pretty quickly, but... Okay, I'll message you later so when you wake up, then you can just reply to me, Blade of Stars. Oh, it's an easy sale. Let's do the trader sale next. Rockstar Plus. Okay. Good night, my brother and friends. Stay safe for you all in chat. Love everyone. Thank you, Blade of Stars. Take care, man. Good night. Brandon, make sure you invite General to the, posse, because he's not in. You know what the best Rockstar channel is? Uncle. My mind will not be changed. Lumbago. Huh. Someone get this guy in chat. Wait, what? I've been thinking about it recently. I mean, GTA 6 is coming out, and everyone is excited, but people don't consider that could not do well. Yeah, there probably are going to be some problems, but I still think it's going to be Rockstar's best game ever. I must say, it feels good to play the classic LEGO games with no problems on PC. Maybe you could play LEGO Star Wars 3, since it's around the Clone Wars Seasons 1 and 2. Yeah, I could probably try to play those games, but I could look into playing some of them. Blinded Eagle. I did play some of the PS2 ones when I was a kid. I do remember that. My favorite Star Wars Lego character to play as was always Jango Fett. That was always my favorite one to play as. Oh, Uncle's original voice actor's in the game too. I didn't even know that, Aaron. Okay, so we're selling Trader now. I don't know. I don't believe that theory that, like, Uncle is Red Harlow. Did you hear about what happened in New York today? No, what happened? Well, here's the thing about it is, you know what I'll tell you. One of the stupidest things that people do is, a lot of people, what they do is they think that just because a video game sells really good, that means that it's good. That's what people think. People think that just because a video game sells a lot of copies, that it's a good game. Just because a video game sells a lot of copies doesn't necessarily make it a good game. I'll tell you this, for example. There was a for GTA 5, a lot of people, for example, say that GTA 5 is the best GTA game out there because they say it's the best-selling one. I'm not saying GTA 5 is a bad game by any means, but the thing about it is you can argue that San Andreas and GTA 4 are better games than GTA 5. But here's the thing is, when you have a really popular series like GTA, every single game is going to sell more copies than the last one. That's what people don't understand. So I'll tell you something, that the next GTA game could be much worse than GTA 5, and it'll still sell more copies than GTA 5 just because it's such an anticipated game. Wait, oh, that's horrible, Levi. If the state of San Andreas existed in real life, would it be a regime because of how the cops in the game behave? No, it would probably be an extremely corrupt place. Thank you, U20. Be like GTA 6 canceled, dude. Why would Rockstar cancel it? Yeah. There are gonna... these clickbaiters, they will literally jump on anything. So remember that story that I told you guys about like the 600 workers getting fired or 300 workers getting fired? Yeah, people are gonna jump on that and say that that's proof that GTA 6 is getting delayed or it's getting canceled. No, it's not. Yes, I remember those crate drops, Golden Stripes. What about them? Oh, well, $100 super chat from Bunny. Thank you, Bunny. Thank you, man. Special shout out there to Bunny. One half. Hey, Pro, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the awesome content and keeping it real. You clearly love what you're doing, and I really like the diversity of the games you play, videos. I recently unsubbed and left another channel I was a mod for because the guy kept what, Bunny? And thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much, Bunny. Thank you, man. Thanks, man. And I always do, and here's the thing about my channel is I always do, yeah, I know he's gonna type the other part, but it's, that really does mean a lot to me, Bunny, and I appreciate that you like all my content. I like playing a lot of different games, and I don't let the views get to me. Milking the same thing over and over and just felt fake. He used an AI-generated art for thumbnails, which is just lazy, and the fan base is obnoxious. So many brain-dead TikTok idiots came over. I had enough and left again. Thanks for everything, Pro. No problem. No problem, Bunny. Thank you for the $50 super chat. $150 from Bunny. Thanks, Bunny. Thank you, man. Yeah, and I tell you something is the biggest problem that YouTubers have is that YouTubers have a big problem where they refuse to diversify their content. They refuse to try to change anything in their content. They refuse to try anything else, because what the thing about a lot of YouTubers is a lot of YouTubers is obsessed with the views. Like, they just let the views get to them, they obsess over them. And, you know, I can understand it to a degree because you make a livelihood on YouTube, but if you're just making just one type of content constantly on your channel and you're never diversifying your content, what's going to happen is you're going to only attract people that are interested in that specific game. And when you try to make other content, it's going to be a lot harder to expand into it. But also, what's going to happen if that content basically stops getting updated? What's going to happen? Because I'm telling you guys, like, for example, if you look at, like, GTA Online, GTA Online, this is the, oh no, I don't do politics, Hunt. I'm just a gaming YouTuber. Occasionally I might, like, you know, talk about things like the economy and stuff like that, but I really don't, you know, get involved in that. It's not for me to, you know, decide for you guys. You guys have your own decisions to make. I'm just a YouTuber. You know, my opinion is the same as everyone else's. Thank you, Vettel Alum, if I'm reading your name correctly. Thanks for sponsoring my channel. But what I was saying, guys, is that this is the last year of GTA Online this year. I'm telling you guys, this is the last year. If anything, we're lucky. We're lucky if we get one update in 2025. but I'm pretty confident in saying that this is the final year of GTA Online. And the thing about this is that what I think the problem that a lot of YouTubers are making is they're banking, they're trying to expect all their content to be on GTA 6. And here's the thing is let's just say that Rockstar, let's just say theoretically, right, that Rockstar makes this summer, right, this summer the final GTA, 5, the final GTA Online update. What do you think is going to happen to channels that only do just GTA Online for like another year until Rockstar, releases GTA 6? There's going to be a massive drop in views. That's what I think is going to happen. You recently told a viewer who to vote for. What are you talking about? There is only one time that I did tell somebody who to vote for, and that one time was on the last stream, and I was actually talking to a bunch of my Indian viewers in the chat, and I told them, that I don't really care who you guys vote for, just don't vote for the Communist Party. That's the only thing I said. And the reason I said that is because the Communist Party is an authoritarian party, and it's trying to gain power in India. And that's basically, I was explaining to them how communism basically destroyed my parents' country, and so that not to vote for that party, that was it. But I don't tell people who to vote for, I was just giving my opinion on that, and, yeah, that was just basically that. Hi Saucer, how are you, man? Exactly. Well, it's like I don't get what you mean though. Sure, I told people please don't vote for the Communist Party. People can do whatever they want. But I'm saying the Communist Party literally destroyed my parents' country. And it's literally every single communist country has been a disaster. Brutal authoritarian regime, suppression of freedoms. It's, mass starvation, nothing in stores, very low wages. Pro, you should get donations through Streamlabs. I heard about that. I don't know. I like doing everything directly through YouTube. I don't really like using that much third-party stuff. And thank you, Bakya. Thank you for the super chat too. One month already. Cool. Just want to say I'm enjoying your Fallout 3 gameplay. Got me into the franchise. Keep up the grind. Thank you, Wasabi guy. YouTube greedy. I think it is 30% greatest within. It was also my birthday on the 17th, but yeah, the guy got 200,000 subs from very fast, from one game, and that's all he does now, and the fan base is so obnoxious. Well, I will... Oh, it doesn't take a cut? Oh, I didn't know that, Lexi. The Fallout game, the thing about it is that most games that I play, if I have a third-person option, I'll choose a third-person option in most video games. So most video games I play, if you can switch between third-person and first-person, I will play, I'll play third-person. But Fallout, on the other hand, I'll play in first-person. Because Fallout, it's always felt more smooth to me in first-person. So that's why, Yep, I know about that. We're gonna do a nice fun stream for GTA 4. One more thing, the guy has fan art drawn of him, yet he makes AI-generated art. I find it sad that people make fan art despite him doing that. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Bunny. And I'll come back to your point in just one moment, Bunny. And thank you from TB Bunny also. What if the Cuban Missile Crisis started World War III in 1962? Well, the Cuban Missile Crisis actually very nearly started World War III. There was actually a Soviet submarine that was being blockaded by the U.S., and the Soviet submarine captain was considering firing a nuclear torpedo at one of the U.S. ships, but he decided not to. So it could have ended right then and there. The world would have ended probably.
Hey, you turn around and leave already. Get out of here. You deaf? Get the hell away from here.
Oh, crap. Yeah, a Maxim would be ripping through this building. Everything would get hit inside of it. Okay, blow up already. Got it. Hey, you got the remaining enemies? Where are the remaining enemies? Oh, I hope this isn't a glitch that I'm encountering here. I think this is a glitch. Damn. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to restart my game here. Can you guys please re-invite me back to that session? I missed your super chat. Oh, yeah, I think it's 30% greatest within. Thank you for the super chat. And happy birthday, happy birthday also, Bunny. How old are you now, man? Thank you, Sir William, and oh, I hope that nothing happens. And thank you, Sean Conville. It's honestly kind of insane how far GTA Online went. In 2013, we had almost nothing to do, and now it's 10 years old and it's almost over. Your GTA Online content is the main reason I watch your content. It's sad. Well, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Sean. I appreciate the super chat, but give some of my other content give some of my other content a try, because I do play a lot of other games, and I'm doing also lore videos on the older GTA games also. Thank you, Sean. But also to answer your question, Bunny, I had a glitch. I was glitched out. Why Mansion's #1? Michael DLC much more reasonable. Well, the Michael DLC might just be like a story DLC. Mansions are something that you're gonna have basically forever. So like a Michael DLC would probably be like a story that you'd play through once. Okay, I'll see you, Brandon. Take care. MC businesses are getting ghost-rated glitches? Oh no. Can you guys invite me? Speaking of which, Pro, I saw someone defend the Khmer Rouge on Twitter today. They claimed the group defeated American imperialism without falling into the claws of Soviet social imperialism. I'll tell you, though, that I actually saw that tweet earlier, Mario, and the person who made that tweet is an idiot. And here's the thing about this, and this shows you how evil the Khmer Rouge were in Cambodia. The Vietnam invaded Cambodia to stop the Cambodian genocide. And think about this. The Vietnamese communists were very brutal. They tortured prisoners of war. They were very cruel. But even the Vietnamese communists were so horrified by what the Khmer Rouge was doing that they invaded Cambodia to stop it. So that's how evil the Khmer Rouge was. They were so brutal that even for the Vietnamese communists, it was too much for them. The Khmer Rouge were a communist guerrilla movement that took over Cambodia. They took over Cambodia, they exiled their king, and turned Cambodia into a communist dictatorship. The dictator of Cambodia, Pol Pot, he would kill anybody who spoke a second language. He would kill doctors, lawyers. Literally, there are so many people that were executed by the Khmer Rouge regime, and it was 25% of all of Cambodia's population was executed. How you doing, professional? I've been watching runs of the True Crime LA and New York, and I was wondering if you ever played them and beat them. I actually never played those games, but I'll be open to playing them, Commander Proton. Thank you for the super chat. Well, what do you want me to do on my GTA stream? I'm always open to suggestions. But Bunny, if you're still here, to answer your did you ever leave a comment here? Oh, you're 24 now. Okay. And thank you also, Blinded Eagle. What I'll tell you, is that I don't know why there's like this. There's just so many YouTubers that like have this massive fear of change, and they're just so scared of changing anything. They're so scared of trying to do any other game besides like the main game or the main content that they do on their channel. But it's like, the thing is though, is like when a channel starts expanding into other content, it's hard at first, but then over time, over time your audience gets more used to it, and you bring in also newer viewers that are from that new content. For example, you know what the really sad thing is? The really sad thing is that when YouTubers try to do something different, like to try to play different games than they normally do, you have like this small portion of their audience. It's not like a big portion, but they're very vocal. So this small portion of their audience that basically shows up to like every single video that they do, and they just leave like nasty comments saying, "Oh, I don't want you to play this game. Like, play the game you always play." Stuff like that, and just being like rude and nasty. And like for anybody that like has been watching like my channel for years, you remember when the channel did mainly GTA Online content. When the channel did mainly GTA Online content, and I started doing like other content, you would have these people that would just show up in the comment section, and they would just be complaining like endlessly, just complaining like, "Oh, I don't want to see this game. I don't want to see Sniper Elite. I want to see just GTA Online. Play GTA Online. This game sucks." Like it was just endless comments like that. It was just popping up. It was frustrating. And what I will say about it is that sometimes I don't understand why people were complaining so much, because what happened is, when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, I started doing content on Red Dead Redemption 2, and I had people complaining that I wasn't doing GTA Online content, just people complaining, getting pissed, and I was still doing the same amount of GTA content that I was doing as Red Dead 2 content. So what it was every single Saturday I would release a GTA Online video, but every single Saturday I would also release a Red Dead Redemption video, Red Dead Redemption 2 video. So I'd release both Red Dead and a GTA video on that day. Sundays I would stream GTA. Wednesdays I think I would stream GTA, and then Fridays I would stream Red Dead. And so I had people that would show up to the Red Dead videos, and they would just be posting comments and just complaining and just leaving nasty comments like, I don't want to see this game sucks, all you do is just ride around your horse, this game's boring, it's garbage, you know, play GTA. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, dude, I'm still doing the same amount of GTA content that I normally do. I do a GTA Online video on Saturday, and I do, you know, a GTA Online stream on Sundays. I just doing extra Red Dead content. And what happened is, I talked to one of my friends about this, and one of my friends, I asked him, I'm like, you know, why are these people getting so pissed at me? Because I'm still doing the same amount of GTA content that I normally do. This is just extra content that I'm doing in my free time. And one of my friends told me, well, the way that the people see it is, the people complaining, they see it that if you have extra time, why you're not doing GTA content instead of Red Dead content. And so, they are right on that. Just block the haters. Well, the thing about that is, what I'm talking about, this happened like years ago. This is like, you know, how long? This is like 6 years ago when this stuff was happening. And 4 years ago when I decided to finally change my channel and I started to start doing like other stuff and like I started to start playing other games. At first, you guys might remember that I had so many people in the comment section, so many people in the comments just constantly complaining and just saying like, you know, why is this, you know, not GTA? Why are you playing this game? Blah, 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 over and over and over again. And what happened is I had people saying, oh, if you don't stop playing this game, you know, I'm going to unsubscribe. And at that point, I basically took a stand. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever game I want to do, and if people unsubscribe, then so be it. It's their choice, and I'm sad to see anyone go, but, you know, it's my channel, and at the end of the day, I'm going to decide what game I want to play when I want to play it. So, I'm not going to have people, you know, dictate to me what games I can and can't play. And what ended up happening is, I lost a lot of subscribers, I lost like thousands of subscribers, but I also gained a lot of new subscribers, and the people complaining, they either unsubscribed, or they just gave up and accepted it. That was basically it. So that's how I got through that. But now these days, like, whenever you guys see me play, like, Ace Attorney, or you see me, like, post Fallout, for example, like, you never see those comments. Like, you never see comments of just people saying, like, you know, why are you playing Fallout? Why are you not playing GTA? Like, those comments don't exist. You very rarely will see those comments. And the reason you don't see those comments anymore is because I've been doing this content for years. So, you know, most people are used to it now. And, like, the people that are complaining have either accepted it or, you know, moved on. I bet those guys are still subscribed, but they're banned. I don't ban people for, you know, complaining. I remember seeing one socialist on Twitter defending the Tulsa race massacre because it destroyed private businesses. What? Well, I'm not aware of that that event. I would have to look up what that one was exactly. But you know, defending any kind of violence is unacceptable. Thank you, Mario. No, thank you, Alex. The day ones will never unsubscribe from you. Do you know that Noam Chomsky downplayed the genocides carried out by the Khmer Rouge? I didn't know that, but I wouldn't be surprised. The thing about what I will say about Chomsky is Chomsky, when Chomsky is like talking about like things like foreign policy, for example, and he's like talking about like, you know, not intervening in other countries, and he's like talking about the military-industrial complex, you know, he's very much right in a lot of that stuff, but he's also wrong in when he defends like you know, communist regimes. So honestly speaking, I'm not surprised that he defends like a communist regime like that, because for him, it was like all the communist countries like didn't do anything wrong, they never committed imperialism or did anything bad, but it's all just, you know, capitalist countries are doing all the evil things.
Come on.
Come on again.
Oh, I'm just gonna try to fix my sleeping schedule soon, so I'll get it back under control.
All right, march him into a cell there, and we'll settle up.
The Tulsa Massacre was an event where the black district of Tulsa, called Black Wall Street, they burned down a prosperous black business district and killed black men, women, and children. That's horrible. Oh, my sleeping schedule, going to bed at like 7 a.m. I gotta get it back under control. I fixed it at one point and then I messed it up again. Favorite game of 2008, GTA 4. Favorite game of 2018, or actually, favorite game of 2008 would be Saints Row 2. Favorite game of 2018 would be Red Dead Redemption 2. Is Agent 47 a psychopath or a sociopath? More of a sociopath. The thing about Agent 47 is Agent 47, cares about Diana. He considers Diana his friend. He cares about Lucas also. So he's not a, he's not a complete, emotionless person. Can you break down the process of fixing your sleeping schedule? Honestly, for me personally, I don't recommend anyone do this. But for me, the way that I fixed my sleeping schedule in the past, like when I have a really bad sleeping schedule, like when I go to bed like 6 or 7 a.m. and like I can't go to sleep earlier. What I do to fix that sleeping schedule is I will sleep for maybe like 2 or 3 hours. And what I'll do at that point is I'll toughen it out most of the day, just being exhausted, and then just go to sleep really early that night. And then when I go to sleep really early, because I'm already tired, so I'll be able to fall asleep. So just wait until it's night and then fall asleep at an earlier time, and then that'll actually reset my sleeping schedule and I can fix it. I'm gonna be watching the Fallout show soon. How do you respond to Western socialists who claim that the USSR was not real communism or any communist regimes that failed? There has not been one successful communist country in history. It has not existed. It just hasn't. Honestly, there isn't one person that like can name me like a successful communist country. And the thing is, though, is like every you have these idiots that basically say, oh, it wasn't real communism. But here's the thing is, apparently the Soviet Union wasn't real communism, apparently Poland wasn't real communism, apparently Yugoslavia wasn't real communism, apparently Romania wasn't real communism, apparently Hungary wasn't real communism, apparently East Germany wasn't real communism, apparently Czechoslovakia wasn't real communism, apparently Vietnam wasn't real communism, apparently Cambodia wasn't real communism, apparently Laos wasn't real communism, apparently China wasn't real communism, apparently Mongolia wasn't real communism, apparently Mongolia wasn't real communism, apparently Cuba wasn't real communism, apparently Nicaragua wasn't real communism, apparently Venezuela wasn't real communism. It's like apparently Yemen wasn't real communism. It's like I could just name all the communist countries from history, and so like I know it sounds ridiculous what I'm saying, but I'm just making fun of those people because of the fact that it's like you have so many communist countries throughout history, and it's like here's the thing is that 1/3 of almost all the countries in the world used to be communism. So like 30% of the world's countries used to be communist. And you literally don't have one successful country in that. Not one. Not one. And it's like, it's just like, how can people, Yemen isn't communist. Yemen was communist in the past. Yemen used to be a communist country. So Afghanistan also used to be a communist country. So Yemen used to be a communist country. There was North and South Yemen. South Yemen, I think, was a communist country. Yemen was a communist country at one point. Somalia and Ethiopia were also communist countries. How could I forget those two also? Is China a successful communist country? China is socially communist, but economically, I would say they are a socialist market economy.
Tough folks don't usually hide their faces.
And you know what I'll tell you is the worst thing those idiots do. The worst thing those idiots do is when they tell people who have lived through communism that wasn't real communism. Like, I mean, can you imagine how pissed you would get? Like, imagine if you grew up in a communist country and you had, like, no food. You were, like, starving. You were just absolute poverty. You know, the state would dictate where you lived, where you could live, you know, how much money you would make, you know, what you could spend it on, you know, just dictating your entire life. And then you come to a country like the United States, and you basically encounter some, like, spoiled rich college kid who tells you that, oh, you know, what you went through wasn't real communism, and you don't know what you're talking about. I can't imagine how those people feel. Just finished my lives from Red Dead 2, and then saw you were live. Enjoying your Fallout playthrough. Thank you, be kind and subscribe. Thanks, man. One of the Congos was communist too, yep. And it's literally, and then also Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso was also communist. How could I forget that country too? Tito was I would say that Tito was more of a bad man. Stalin was evil, Tito was a bad guy. That's the difference that I would put between them. What do I do now? Let me go to my moonshine business, actually. I know about that, Mr. Gibbs. Yes, he was a very successful guerrilla fighter. Can you make a setup tour video? Maybe one day, but I'm not really that kind of guy that that like shows off. I'm not that type of person, really. What type of company should not be government owned? Well, you want to have as little, you really want to have as little, government companies as possible. You know, government companies aren't going to really work. But also, I'll tell you something, is private companies can also do tremendous damage as well. Like, most of the military-industrial complex are private companies. They're not even government-owned. But they cause tremendous problems. A guerrilla fighter is like somebody who fights like an occupying force in small numbers.
Well, this will keep them happy.
Pro, do you remember when you live streamed Red Dead 2 and someone super chatted you and said Dutch was gonna betray you? I remember that. I don't think they said that. I think they said Micah kills Arthur. That's what I think they said. Yeah, so like 6 years ago, I was playing through Red Dead Redemption 2, the story mode. It was the first time I was playing through it right when it came out, and I had some moron that like put a super chat that said, he said, oh, you know, Micah kills Arthur, and he gave me money for that, so I could see that. Like, it's like, come on, dude, it's. Yes, I'll do the DLCs. I always wish you could use the rolling block of iron sights. No, I've never done a playthrough of New Vegas. Hey Pro, it's Ananda. I wanted to say something. Afghanistan was completely destroyed by the Soviet Union. Afghanistan was a very good neighbor and friend to India. They completely destroyed the country. Thank you, Ananda, for the, thank you, Ananda, for the comment. The thing about Afghanistan, wait, hang on one second, let me get charger. Controller's pretty much dead here. Okay. Ooh. Sorry about that, controller died. Throughout Afghanistan's entire history, they have always had warring tribes that were just fighting with each other. The only time that the warring tribes really stopped fighting each other is during the British occupation. During the British occupation, a lot of the tribes started to stop fighting each other, and they were fighting directly against the British. But then the moment the British left, they started fighting again. And it was the same thing with the Soviets, and it was the same thing with the Americans. It was, and the thing about Afghanistan is I can't see Afghanistan lasting, you know, the next 20 years. I think Afghanistan is probably going to collapse. I think it's going to, I think that all these tribes are going to start fighting each other again. I think the country is going to collapse into complete anarchy. So I don't think that I don't think that the country is going to last the next 20 years. Congratulations reaching 1 million subscribers. Thank you, Dylan. Favorite Fallout 3 side quest? Maybe Tenpenny Tower? I'm not sure, Assassin Wolf. Did I do a 1 million special? I did, and I'm gonna do another special when I hit 1,100,000. I'm actually really close to hitting 1,100,000. I'm right now I'm at 1,098,000 subscribers. I know that you guys see it as 1,090,000 subscribers. That's because it updates every, 10,000. But on my end, I see 1,098,000 subscribers. So I can't wait to, do a celebration stream when we hit that. Yeah, I should feed the horse. Yeah, the Deathclaw, that scared me. A Michael DLC or North Yankton expansion? North Yankton, because I wanna go back there for the online. What do you mean, Merp? Yes, I do remember that, Emily. The thing about that is, I saw that on live TV when that happened too. The thing is, though, is I remember I went to the gym. I remember that when the Afghanistan withdrawal was happening, I went to the gym, and I just turned on the news, and the news was basically talking about that. There's a few TVs in the gym, and I just turned that on, and it was specifically talking about that, and I was watching that while I was working out. man. It... I took care of it. I'm sorry about that guy in the comments, guys.
Hey, you don't belong there. Get out. Oh, I swear
Hey, the hell? When I get free, you'll feel no end of the pain.
It is Hayden. It's a bit weird. Yes, I've played the Dead Rising games before.
No, sorry.
Well, I didn't know that, Ananda. I know that he was a basically he turned Panama into a narco state. You know, I never understood why are the enemies always so surprised when you shoot their horse? Like they're just so shocked when you do that. Like they're riding around on horses, constantly dodging your shots. So of course you're gonna shoot the bigger targets. Like they don't expect you to shoot their horse. I should buy some food for the horse. Yeah. Oh, I know that noise. That's Madame Lazar. Oh, she's right here. Why is my horse not... My horse is like stuck. Okay, you take this guy then. What are you talking about, Maurice? I guess, but it should be easy to add something there, Aaron. It shouldn't be that hard, though. That's what I'll say about it. I wonder if the actor for Johnny was pissed at what Rockstar did. Maybe. I'd be annoyed too. What specific region of Wild West is Red Dead supposed to be based off? New Austin is supposed to be Arizona and New Mexico. West Elizabeth is supposed to be Texas. Ambarino, this is supposed to be like Idaho, Montana. New Hanover is the Midwest. We're talking like North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska. Lemoyne is Louisiana. And Roanoke Ridge is supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be like North Carolina. Pro, have you heard about the Uber lady that was shot and killed by the man that got scammed? The scammer also lured the delivery woman into a trap, which she got killed by the man who was scammed. I did actually hear about that. I know the story that you're talking about. It's horrible. It's horrible what happened. Yeah, you know, a mother is dead, and that old man is going to be in prison for the rest of his life. It's just and the scammer never got caught, too. Is there any proof behind that, Emily? I don't know about 1,000 Starship Radio, The thing is, that scammer is in Canada, so there's gonna be an extradition issued also. Okay, so for people that are wondering what I'm talking about, a couple days ago, there was this scammer that was calling this old man, like an 81-year-old Vietnam veteran, and the scammer was calling him and was basically pulling the grandfather scam on him. For people that don't know what the grandfather scam is, the grandfather scam is when a scammer will call an elderly person and they will pretend to be the police. And they'll tell them, oh, you know, your grandson, your granddaughter is in jail, and if you want to get them out of jail, you have to go to the, you know, store and buy gift cards right now. But this scammer wasn't demanding gift cards. This scammer was demanding like $10,000 or $12,000 in cash. And what ended up happening is the old man, you know, started arguing with the scammer, and then the scammer basically said, you know, if you don't pay me, you know, $10,000, I'm gonna kill like your niece or son, or I'm trying to remember who he said. It was like one of his family members. And what ended up happening is he told the old man to put it in like a package near the front door. Then what the scammer did was he placed an order on the Uber app, and he had an Uber driver go to the house to pick up the package of cash. The Uber driver was completely innocent in this story. She didn't know that it was a scam. She was just doing, you know, she was just taking the job from the app. That was it. And what ended up happening is when she went to the house to pick up the package, the old man shot and killed her. And so that was like a, it's a horrible situation. It's like a mother is dead, and the old man is in prison for the rest of his life. And the scammer wasn't, the police never found him. The police tried to trace the call, but it was to a Canadian burner's phone. So it's a horrible situation. Hey, Pro, I wanted to thank you for making content. You've helped me as a person, helped me mentally. I have bipolar, and your videos have helped me a lot. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, man. I'm glad my videos have helped you out. Do you think it's harder to get to 1 million in Red Dead or 100 million in GTA 5? Harder to get 1 million in Red Dead, definitely.
Oh, come the hell on.
What's the smartest crime you've ever seen in New York? I don't know if I could think of one.
Oh, hell no. This is too crazy even for me.
You know what I'll tell you guys is, you know what the smartest thing I've ever seen somebody do? Technically they didn't break the law, but they were extremely intelligent. And I'm actually happy for the guy. that he managed to get away with it, because I don't think he really did anything wrong. But basically, there was this guy in China, and what he did was he booked a flight with I don't remember the plane carrier, but what he did was he bought like a premium ticket, like, you know, first class, whatever it was. And what he did was, when you buy a first class ticket with that carrier, you basically get to go to the lounge, and the lounge has free meals. So the lounge, you get to eat for free at the lounge. What the guy did was, when his flight was coming up, he would just rebook the flight. He would just cancel for that time, because he bought the coverage where you can just cancel the flight. So what he did was he would just cancel the flight and post it to like another day. And then he would just go into the airport, go to the fancy lounge, have dinner again, and then just cancel his flight. And he did that for like 100 times. So basically got like 100 free meals just through just constantly canceling his flight, doing it over and over again, because he was constantly taking advantage of the free food at the lounge. But that was it. Like, honestly, a lot of these airlines do such scummy things that I honestly don't care that the guy scammed the airline. So that was it. He didn't even break the law. He didn't even commit any crimes, because what he did wasn't necessarily illegal. It was more of an exploit. And so he would just constantly keep milking that to get free food. Imagine like constantly rebooking your flight just so you could get free food. And this food wasn't some garbage food also. This was good food. Because remember, he booked first class, so he would get like fancy food at the lounge, and he would get free fancy food for like a whole year. Oh, that was definitely smart. I'll listen to really any kind of music. Infinite food cheat. Yep. He cheated the Matrix. Hold on one second here, guys. I'm sorry about this idiot in the chat. I just looked it up and he booked 300 flights, so 300 free meals. Wow. You know, what I'll say is the only thing that's worse than communism is Nazism. Nazism is worse than communism, and so it's like honestly I don't know how idiots can I don't know how idiots can actually have that as their avatar. But also the fact that putting a Polish flag and a swastika on top of that's just disgusting.
Walk with your eyes open.
My favorite radio station in Fallout 4, I don't even remember the radio station names. What country has the best snipers? I would say that during World War II, it was the Soviet Union had the best snipers. You know, modern day, probably be the US. Yeah, I would say probably the US. Vasily Zaitsev wasn't the best sniper in the world. The best sniper in the world is this guy called Simo Haiha. Vasily Zaitsev, I think, got like 300 kills over a 4-year period. But the Simo Haiha got 505 kills in 3 months. We had the best medic of World War II, Private Desmond Doss, a Medal of Honor recipient that never touched a gun or got a kill. Yep, you are right on that. Andrew Garfield played him. Yes, he got 200 kills with a submachine gun as well. I know about that too. So in total, Simo Haiha's kill count is like 700-something kills. Like, honestly, I'm honestly surprised that he doesn't have a movie, like, about him. Like, you think a soldier that killed 700 people in combat, that they would have, like, some movie about him, but there isn't. Yes, he did, Mr. Gibbs.
Stop right there. Who are you? There, here they are. Get out of here. Walk right the corpse out of here.
I think that I think the stupidest war ever fought in human history is probably World War I. Okay, here we go. Damn, I hate when they run around like that. Why was it the stupidest war? Because it was fought over such stupid idiotic reasons. It was here's the thing about this is do you know what the main difference between World War I and World War II is that in World War II, you had a group of countries that were trying to conquer Europe and Asia, and were just committing mass genocide. That was the Axis. So in World War II, there was really no stopping it. In World War II, you had to fight because your country was getting invaded. You know, the Nazis, the Japanese, the Italians were attacking your country. So you had to fight and you had to stop that. But World War I, on the other hand, that conflict could have been stopped within the first year of fighting. Like, it could have just been stopped. Like, it was such a preventable conflict. but it was just a bunch of stupid, like, basically, I'll give you guys a perfect example of what World War I is. And I remember this, my history teacher, when I was in 8th grade, he told us, you know what my history teacher said? He said the most realistic example of World War I. Let me ask you guys here. Does anybody here watch hockey? Anybody here in the comments watch hockey? Let me ask the people that watch hockey, because I don't even watch hockey that much myself. But for the people that watch hockey, what happens when two team members start fighting? Like 2 team members from a rival team. What happens when they both start fighting? How do their teammates react to that situation? Anybody that's watched hockey before? Tell me how they react to that situation, the other players. They'll join in the fight. Yep. That is pretty much what World War I is. World War I is a conflict where a bunch of idiots started fighting each other, and then more idiots jumped in to fight. That's pretty much what World War I is when you think about it. That's literally what the entire war was. A bunch of idiots started fighting, and it got bigger because more idiots jumped in to fight each other. That is literally what World War I was. It was a completely preventable war. It should have never happened. But it was just like it was such a stupid war. Like people think that Iraq and like Vietnam are like the stupidest wars in history. But while those wars are both really stupid and pointless conflicts, the stupidest war in history would have to be World War I, because just the enormous scale and just how stupid the whole thing started over. It was such a dumb, idiotic conflict. And the thing about this is, do you know that like after years of fighting, both sides didn't even know what they were fighting for? That's like how stupid that war was. It's such a dumb conflict. Honestly, if I was to blame World War I on anything, I would blame World War I on one word: empire. Empire is what caused that war. Empire and colonialism. That is pretty much what caused World War I to happen. Because it was what it basically was you had a bunch of stupid, greedy monarchs, greedy kings and queens that basically wanted to take more land from each other, and they wanted to expand their empires, and so they had this massive arms race where they were just both building up all their armies, and then it was only a matter of time until something stupid happened, and it triggered the whole fight. Uncle Junior or Filiatardo as boss? Thank you, Mr. Nowhere. Uncle Junior would be a much better boss than Phil. Definitely, 100%. Yeah, World War I is a perfect example of how awful, like, imperialism and colonialism is. What was it? And what I will tell you is, yeah, that it was just a stupid. The whole conflict was stupid. Like every single country in World War I had some ulterior motive for joining the war and getting into it. Basically, a greedy aristocracy wanted to slug it out for dominance, and soon more countries would join in. It also applies to baseball. Yep. Would World War III start similar to World War I? I don't like getting into hypothetical situations, but if there was ever a future World War, God forbid, hope there isn't, it would probably start similar to how World War I would start. It would probably start over a bunch of alliances. It would be a bunch of alliances, and it'd be like 2 idiots started fighting each other, and it would just basically trigger everyone else to get involved. That is pretty much what would probably happen. But hopefully, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. I don't think it will. Hopefully, it doesn't. Dishonored? That's a stealth game, right? I think I've heard of that game before. Maybe I'll look into it one day. Dude, like, you know, come on, like, why are you doing this? Hold on. Okay. Oh, did you ban him, chat? Chaz, I hit the hide button at the same time. Also. Like, honestly, dude, if you have like a problem with me, come into this chat without like a swastika avatar and talk to me reasonably, tell me what your problem is exactly. It's like, I don't get why you're coming in this chat constantly and like, you know, coming in with like extremely offensive symbols and trying to piss people off. I don't understand what the issue here is. Why are you doing that? Yeah, I know, Eternus, but the thing is though is I always try to appeal to people on a human level. I always try to get people to like try to be reasonable, and like, you know, if I can convince somebody to stop, you know, that's for me like, you know, the best solution. But unfortunately, he's not stopping. Thank you, Chaz. No, I'm not gonna retire from YouTube. Yeah, and Ananda, I'll tell you something else. Is I am gonna be making a Sniper Elite video in the future. I actually wrote a little bit of the script, but it's gonna be like a long video. But eventually I will do a eventually I will do a lore video on Sniper Elite, and when I do that lore video on Sniper Elite, I'm actually going to talk about how in India that there's a symbol that's very similar to the swastika, but a lot of people don't know about that. And what's happened is that the Nazis, the swastika has existed in India for like, you know, thousands of years. And I think the swastika in India, it looks different, very different than the Nazi one, but people oftentimes think it's the same thing. In India, I think it's supposed to mean like good fortune or good luck, something like that. But what the Nazis did was they took a symbol that was used historically for peaceful reasons, and they twisted it and, you know, made it into one of the most evil symbols that exists in history. So when I do make that Sniper Elite video eventually, Ananda, because Sniper Elite is a World War II game, I will actually mention that part specifically about the swastika, like in India, and how people think it's the same thing, but it's not. So basically, the symbol got twisted. Yeah, a lot of civilizations actually used that symbol before, but the Nazis took that symbol and had you know, created a very made it into an extremely evil symbol. Well, I tend to stay away from like the war fundraisers these days, Zuhair, because you don't know where the money is going. So like I'm probably never gonna do a war fundraiser again, because like you just don't know where the money is going. I'm probably going to do a I'm probably gonna do a fundraiser for like, you know, victims and like people that need food and stuff like that. But if it's like any kind of fundraiser for like governments, you know, whether the European war or the war in the Middle East, is, you know, I'm not gonna do a fundraiser for any governments. You know, that's let me see here. Pro, has anyone carved Nazi swastikas on desks when you were in high school, middle school? I've seen graffiti of it before in schools. I haven't seen anyone do it directly, but... Pro, do you have any... Patrick, do you have any advice for low self-esteem? Yes, and curiosity, I'm going to be doing a video on this very topic very soon. Which I'll be talking about group projects. But about the group projects is, and I'll talk about how, like, you know, people will take advantage of other people. But what I will say is, if you have low self-esteem, and you have, like, you know, hard time talking to people, the thing is eventually you're gonna have to get to a point where you're just gonna have to stand up to for yourself, because you're gonna have to realize that you're getting taken advantage of. Because I'll tell you something, my father, and I love my father, don't get me wrong, but my father has always told me several times, and he's told me the same thing over and over again. He told me that my biggest problem in life is that I'm too nice, and because of that, people take advantage of me. And he says I don't know how to tell people no. And so and my father is right. I agree with what my father was saying, because it's like I've helped people out so many times in real life. I've done favors for so many people. People don't want to help me out when I need help. They were constantly taking advantage of me, and I didn't know how to tell people no. And when I would the few times I would tell people no, people would guilt trip me and try to make me feel bad into making me help them, even when it wasn't my responsibility. So that was so I will say, to answer your question, curiosity, is you have to try to stand up for yourself, and don't let these people push you around. What's the point in standing up for yourself if it accomplishes no practical end but makes people hate you? What do you do there? I have that problem too. Look, here's what I'll tell you something. If somebody hates you for standing up for yourself, that is not a person worth talking to. That is not a person worth, you know, hanging out with. That's what I'll say about it. So even if this is family or friends, whoever this person is, if there's somebody trying to take advantage of you and you stand up for yourself and they get all pissed at you and they give you an attitude, that is not a person that is worth, that is not a person worth hanging out with. And just like Chaz there says, and look, curiosity, I'll give you this piece of advice. And this advice, I will give this advice to everybody. And I'll tell you guys, is this works. This advice I'm about to give the chat. But what if you're in the workplace? I'll tell you what to do in the workplace. This is what you do. When your coworkers, right? When your coworkers need a favor, right? They need help with something. And it's not your responsibility. So it's like, it's not part of your responsibilities, but they still ask you for a favor to help them, right? Help them with it. But only help them with it one time. Just one time. And hear me out. Help them with it one time. But then what you do is, when you need help with something, go back to that exact same person that, oh god, it's a bear. When you need help with that same, with something, what you're going to be doing is, ask that same person for a favor. So remember what I said. When a person asks you for a favor, help them out. But then what you do is, the next time that you need help with something, go to that exact same person who asked you for a favor, and ask them if they can help you with something. Ask them for a favor. Now, here's the thing about this. if they give you an attitude, if they basically say to you, oh, you know, I can't help right now, like, you know, I'm busy, stuff like that, just say this to them. This is the magic words. You say, okay, when can you help me? I have time. Just say that. Because that's what they don't expect you to say. Because people oftentimes say, oh, I can't help right now, I'm busy, and they're hoping that you'll let it go. But when you tell them, okay, when will you have time, that will completely throw them off, as they won't expect you to actually say that to them. So like I said, if somebody asks you for a favor, help them with that favor, help them with whatever they need help with, but then, when you need help, ask that same person for a favor back, and see how they react. If they give you excuses, if they say, oh, I can't help right now, I'm busy with something, you tell them, you know, when can you help me? And when they say, oh, you know, I don't know, I'm not sure, you know, at that point, it's like they're giving you, like, vague times. They were taking advantage of you. They were exploiting you, they were taking advantage of your kindness, and they don't want to help you back. And that is a person that you want to cut ties with. Don't help that person at all. And if that exact same person asks you for a favor in the future, you do the exact same thing they did. You say, I'm busy, I can't, I'm sorry, I got a lot of things to do, I'm busy. Do the exact same thing. So you don't have to explain yourself, you don't even have to say, no, I'm not going to help you. You just say, no, I can't, I'm busy. And they can't do anything about it. They can't do anything. So that is what I will say about it, is that's how I stopped having people take advantage of me. And to answer this point even fully, if they help you, when you ask them for a favor and they help you back, that's a person who wasn't taking advantage of you. And that's a person that you want to have as a friend and a good coworker. But if it's a person that they don't want to help you, after you help them, they were taking advantage of you, and they're a scumbag, and you don't want to deal with a person like that. So that is what I will say about somebody like that. Oh, and ZZ Shy, I just saw your message. You messaged me 30 minutes ago. You wanted to invite to the session. I'm sorry, I didn't see it until now. If you're still online, I will invite you. So yeah, I just wanted to stop by and tell you how much I enjoyed your great Ace Attorney Chronicles playthrough. It was a blast to watch. Very underrated game. I really hope Capcom makes a sequel. I hope so too, yeah. I hope so too as well. I'm gonna be trying to do the streams in afternoon Central Time. So like Central Time US, like afternoons, that's when I'm gonna start trying to do the streams. Tonight I'm gonna fix my sleeping schedule. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm probably only gonna sleep like 3 hours, but the next day I will be you know, I'll be more you know, I'll be able to fix my sleeping, so I'll be able to get it under control. I love this stream, man. I always look forward to them on the weekends. Thank you. I could spider. That is unhealthy, but I could try to do that. I agree. Great advice. Thank you. Isn't that where your father is from, or your family's from, Gunner? I think, didn't you tell me you were from your family was from a Southeast Asian country, I think? Pro say a sentence in Spanish. What can I say in Spanish? Trying to think what can I even say right now at this point is yo como sandwich. I had a sandwich earlier. Hola, como estás? How are you? How many languages do you know? I know English and Polish, and I've been studying Spanish, but I've been slacking with that. I just haven't had time, but I want to get back on that and learn again. Hey, Super Mario Edgar. Oh, I don't know, Locke. I'm not sure yet. Is it okay to be a shy guy? That's fine. That's, A channel named Angry Guy made videos talking about Gen Z calling DoorDash fast food and retail jobs for teenagers and aren't real jobs, and young Gen Z are failures in social media stupids. Well, that guy sounds like an idiot himself. It's like, DoorDash and Uber Eats aren't bad jobs necessarily. Like, they're not the best paying jobs, but they're jobs that you can do on your own. So like, when you need some extra cash, DoorDash and Uber Eats are, you know, great apps that you can basically do that for when you need some extra money. So at least, you know, these young adults are still trying to make some money. So I don't know what his problem is. No, my family are all Vietnamese, and we never forgot that the Khmer Rouge didn't Tay Nê, but the Vietnamese government was to blame when they added the Khmer Rouge, when they aided the Khmer Rouge during the Vietnam War. Yep. Can a dictatorship be better than democracy if the guy in power is actually a good leader? To answer your question, yes. But the chances of that are extremely slim. So, can a dictator be better than a democratically elected leader? It depends. But here's the thing is, 99% of dictators in history are massive scumbags, you know, terrible, evil people. You know, the only dictator that I can think of, like a modern dictator, that wasn't actually bad and actually did, you know, care about the well-being of his people, I would say is Lee Kuan Yew, like the dictator of Singapore. Like, because his system worked, you know, he took Singapore, which was a very poor nation after World War II. Like, you know, Singapore was a victim of, like, you know, British colonialism, and then it was a victim of, like, you know, Japanese colonialism. So it was, he took a country that was, like, really poor, but in Britain and Japan exploited it, robbed Singapore, and then what happened was Malaysia treated Singapore like crap also. So, you know, they went through British occupation, Japanese occupation, Malaysian occupation, and he took his, you know, his country, and he turned it into an economic powerhouse, and Singapore has, you know, one of the highest living standards in the world today because of him. So he, but he's one of the few people that was actually good and did have, like, you know, a good heart about his people. But what I will say about it is, you're probably wondering, you know, why aren't more dictators good people? Why are, like, 99% of dictators horrible, evil people? There's a reason for that. Do you know why 99% of dictators are evil people? The reason 99% of dictators are evil people is because to become a dictator, most dictators become dictators through, like, violent revolution or, like, some kind of military coup, you know, something usually of that sort. And so, in order to become a dictator, you have to be a pretty ruthless guy. Think about that, because to achieve absolute power, you have to be willing to do things along the way that are pretty brutal and pretty, you know, rough. So, like, to gain ultimate power as a dictator, somebody has to be willing to do things that are pretty brutal and are not considered moral. And so that is why most dictators are horrible people, because they're willing to do those horrible things, and so they don't care. They're already horrible before they even become dictators. They're already horrible people because they're willing to do those horrible things. So that's why throughout history, you very rarely have a dictator who actually cares about his people and loves his people, because really moral people, really good people, are not willing to do a lot of the horrible things that dictators are willing to do to achieve power. So, and that is precisely why most dictators that are in power are, you know, really evil, horrible people. What about Marshal Piłsudski of Poland? Well, Marshal Piłsudski is not a modern dictator, but yes, he was dictator of Poland. But here's the thing about Piłsudski is Piłsudski gave up power. So Piłsudski was a dictator, and then he gave up power, and he let Poland become a democracy. So what I will say about Piłsudski is I don't think Piłsudski was a bad guy. I think Piłsudski is one of probably Poland's greatest leaders. About Piłsudski is Piłsudski, you know, his entire life, he basically fought for, you know, Polish freedom, Polish independence. He fought for independence. He was a revolutionary earlier in his life. He fought for Poland's freedom from Russian occupation. And about him is Piłsudski served in the Austro-Hungarian army during World War I. He commanded like a groups of Polish legions. But what happened was he thought that he would be able to win like a Polish state, like, you know, get Poland independence through Austria-Hungary. But what happened was Piłsudski was asked to bow before the Kaiser, you know, the king of Germany, and he didn't want to do that, and so he got arrested. Now, here's the thing about Piłsudski is Piłsudski came from an aristocratic family. He was from a noble family. He was from a very rich family. But even though he was from a very rich family, he was very different than a lot of his other peers because he hated nobles. He hated aristocrats. He hated really rich people. He hated rich elites. He hated those people. So he was more of a person that sympathized with the poor. Even it's kind of ironic because most people that come from a very rich background aren't like that. But even though he came from a very rich background, he hated most other rich people. He just hated the aristocrats, and he blamed the aristocrats for a lot of problems in Poland. And the aristocrats did do a lot of problems in Poland. The aristocrats basically sold out Poland to the foreigners, because the aristocrats were like a class of wealthy elites that lived in Poland. They came from specific family bloodlines, and what the aristocrats did was they collaborated with the Germans, with the Russians, with the Austro-Hungarians. So when these empires basically colonized Poland, these Polish aristocrats would collaborate with them just for special privileges and wealth, and they sold out their people and their country. So and about Piłsudski is, you know, under Piłsudski is, you know, everybody was, you know, treated fairly. You know, that's what I would say about that. You know, he didn't tolerate racism. You know, he didn't tolerate discrimination, anti-Semitism. So he was a, I would say that he was a dictator for a few years in Poland, but I wouldn't say he was a bad guy. He did lead a coup, which a few people in the coup did die. But, you know, ultimately his policies and how he ran Poland, you know, he wasn't I wouldn't say that Piłsudski was a bad person. Let me see here. Hello, Pro. How's life, man? Love and support always. Thank you, Rashawn. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, man. Oh yeah, I know you're from Malaysia, Rashawn, but I was just talking about what Singapore went through. In The Godfather, that Michael Corleone, when Italy met the girl, got married, but she died and exploded in the car. She's innocent by scumbag two guys. Well, the thing is, when Michael's bride died in The Godfather, that pretty much broke Michael, and that's where he basically became, like, emotionless. So that's, like, he lost, like, you know, he lost most of his humanity, I would say, after that, and he just became, like, a cold and ruthless person. Have you ever watched, things that mock the Nazis? Wait, is that like a TV series? No, I haven't watched that. But I will tell you though, is what's his name? What's the name of that actor? That actor in the 1930s, and he made fun of Hitler on TV. He was like an American actor. What was his name? He wasn't like a big guy. He was like a smaller guy, but he made fun of Hitler. That guy, I'm trying to I forget his name, damn. But about him is, he had to actually, the government had to protect him, had to put him under, like, protection custody, because, like, there was, like, a rumor that Hitler had actually seen his movie making fun of him, and that Hitler had basically, you know, sent assassins to kill him. So that guy had to be, like, protected because of that. Chaplin, yes, Chaplin was the guy. That was him. So yeah, he was, Hitler had some, it was never, I don't think it was ever proven whether Hitler did send assassins after him, but that was like a common belief that Hitler had sent someone to kill him because he saw his, like, his movie. If I became a world leader, any part of the world, what changes would you make? Thank you, Cringe Name. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, I did see a few, Mario, yes. Is Victor Bout as evil as a corrupt dictator? Victor Bout is a ruthless arms dealer. And Victor Bout, I think his name is Victor Boot, actually. I think that's how you pronounce it. But, Victor Boot, he sold weapons to terrorist organizations. He sold weapons to warlords in Africa. He sold weapons to the dictator of Liberia. And when I'm selling, I'm talking about weapons. Victor Boot didn't just sell like AK-47s and RPGs. He sold like attack helicopters. He sold surface-to-air missile launchers. So this is like somebody that would like sell like, you know, APCs to like dictators and like warlords and, you know, all these, you know, horrible, evil people. Also, he has no emotion for what he did. He really, wasn't that the guy the U.S. government traded for a basketball player? Yes. Yes, it is. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And honestly, it sounds like an Onion article just because how ridiculous the situation sounds. And I'll answer your question a cringe name. Give me a moment. I'll answer your question in just a second. But yes, so for people, if anybody has ever seen the movie Lord of War, the movie of Nicolas Cage, where Nicolas Cage plays that Ukrainian arms dealer, Victor Boot is based on him. So he's based on Victor Boot. That is where the story for him comes from, specifically him. And so this guy is the most dangerous arms dealer in the world. Most dangerous arms dealer in the world. If you want to know how dangerous, Victor Boot is, Victor Boot went in the Angola Civil War. And Angola had a very long civil war. I think it lasted for like 20 or 30 years. It was a country in Africa. It's the war that you also fight in Black Ops 2. But anyways, in the Angola Civil War, the Soviets were supporting the MPLA, which was the communist faction. What he did was he sold weapons to the communist faction in that war. And what happened was Victor Boot looked at that situation and he basically felt that the war would end too quickly if he sold weapons to that side. So then what he started doing is he started selling to the other side too, just to make as much money as possible. So he's selling to both sides in the Angola Civil War, where both sides were just killing each other, and with Victor Boot's weapons. So he sold weapons to both sides. He went to Liberia, a country in Western Africa, which was a brutal military dictatorship, and he sold weapons to the dictator of Liberia. I forget the guy's name, but he sold weapons to him. He also sold weapons to the FARC. FARC is the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. FARC is a terrorist organization that is in Colombia. It's a communist terrorist group. And for people that don't know what FARC is, FARC makes an appearance in One Rockstar Games. In Max Payne 3, those pirates that actually board the ship, those pirates are actually based on two terrorist organizations. They're based on a far left, terrorist organization, which is the FARC, and then they're also based on a far-right organization. The far-right organization, I'm trying to remember what they were called, DUP, or something like that. I think that's what they were called. But the terrorist group that you fight in Max Payne 3, it's a combination of both of those terrorist groups in one group, because the terrorists in that game are wearing the uniforms that FARC wears. They're wearing very similar uniforms to what FARC wears, but they're wearing the armbands that the other organization wears. So the far-right organization, they wear an armband, and they wear the exact same type of armband. So the group is basically like a combination of both of those, terrorist groups put together. But anyways, the point that I'm getting at is that Victor Boot was selling weapons to FARC, that terrorist organization, which does several bombings in Colombia. And what happened was he went to, I'm trying to remember what country it was. Oh, it was Thailand. I think that's where it was. It was Thailand, and in Thailand he went to meet with a FARC commander who he thought was El Comandante. But El Comandante was really an American agent. So he's an American federal agent that was pretending to be a FARC representative. And basically he talked to Victor, Boot, and and he told him that he needs surface-to-air missiles to shoot down American planes. And he also tells him that he needs sniper rifles to blow off American heads. And Victor Boot basically said to him, good, the Americans are after me. If you kill them with these weapons, I'll be happy as well. So he was going to sell, these surface-to-air missile launchers to these guys. But these guys were really American agents. They arrested him. He got sentenced to prison. Now, Victor Boot is a Russian arms dealer. The Russian government claims that Victor Boot is a legitimate businessman. It's BS. Absolute nonsense. He's not a legitimate businessman. He is, he's one of the most dangerous arms dealer in the world. Today, he's not the most dangerous arms dealer in the world. Back in his day, he was the most dangerous arms dealer in the world. And so this guy is I think he's in his 50s. So the guy is still still has a huge chunk of his life still to live. So it's not like he's dying or anything. And what happened is there was an American basketball player that went to Russia. like a couple years ago, and she was caught with marijuana, or I think it was like a marijuana pipe, or some kind of marijuana liquid. I don't remember what it was exactly. The only thing I remember is she was caught with something specifically marijuana. And what happened is she got sentenced to like years in prison, because in Russia, the laws against like marijuana are extremely strict, much stricter than the United States. So she got sentenced to like years in prison. And what happened is the Russian government, what they told the Americans is, if you want this basketball player released, then you have to trade us Victor Boot. And you know what the American government was like? The American government was like, okay, we'll do it. And I was like, what? Like seriously, like what the hell? So like think about it this way, like this guy is one of the most dangerous arms dealers in the world. He has supplied, weapons to, conflicts in three different continents. Thousands of people are dead because of him. He sold surface-to-air missile launchers, he sold APCs, tanks, attack helicopters, RPGs. This guy basically sold everything. Thousands of people have died because of this guy, and the US government is like, okay, we'll trade this guy for a basketball player that got arrested in Russia for marijuana. It honestly sounds like an Onion story, because like this guy's responsible for thousands of deaths, and you just literally released this guy for this. So I'm sorry for the basketball player, I'm sorry for what happened to her, but she was stupid also, because you go to a country like Russia. Russia is not a democracy, Russia is a dictatorship, but you go to a country like Russia where the laws for marijuana are extremely strict, you're gonna get locked up for years in prison, and you decide to go there with marijuana, you get arrested, and now you're stuck in prison. And honestly, I'll tell you something like that, if that was me, I could not live with myself if that was me. Like honestly, I would rather stay in a Russian prison than like be released and knowing that like a mass murderer got released from me. Like I could not do that. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So like I don't know, like I don't know what they were thinking. The Russians were laughing at us. We looked stupid. We looked like idiots. The Russians were laughing at us. It was a complete failure. It was a failure in diplomacy. It's one of the stupidest like deals we've ever made. It was such a stupid, dumb deal. And the what is it? One last point about it. There's an American who is being held in like in a Russian prison. And this American, I think he's like a former Marine. I think his like fiance was Russian. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy's still in prison in Russia. The Russians claim that he's a spy. I haven't really seen any evidence for it that he's a spy. Personally, I think they're just holding him just so they can exchange him for some top-level Russian prisoner, probably. That's what I think the reason they're holding him for. But anyways, what happened is that guy, the U.S. government made no attempt to save that guy. But instead, they released this, basketball player that went to Russia with like marijuana, and I think that basketball player also made some anti-American comments as well. So like I would say is that at least be grateful to your country that your country was your country had freed you from prison after you got locked up for something really stupid that you did. Let's go. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna really get into the politics of it, Mario, but that was basically it. It's like we released a mass murderer that had like thousands of deaths for like somebody that was like caught with marijuana in Russia. It was just a stupid. It was such a stupid trade, such a stupid thing. And also, what this is, do you know what this is doing also? What this is doing is this is endangering more Americans also, because when you really think about this is, and this is not just endangering Americans, but it's endangering more lives. Because think about it, this guy was the world's, most dangerous arms dealer. Why did the Russians want him? Think about that. The world's most dangerous arms dealer, why did the Russians want him? So just think about that also. But think about this also, is if the Russians know that the US government is going to trade some, like, a basketball player caught with marijuana in Russia for, like, the world's most dangerous arms dealer, they know at that point they can just arrest any American that travels to Russia on some, like, stupid reason, hold them in prison for years, and the U.S. government will just release them for something really stupid. So I would say it's endangering, more people at the same time, too. It's such a stupid, dumb trade. It was and honestly, for, like, I don't know how the U.S. government can, like, claim that was a victory. They claim that it was a victory. They're like, oh, we won, we got Brittany home. It's like, okay, you got Brittany home, but you just released a mass murderer. You released a guy who killed thousands of people for somebody who got arrested in Russia for marijuana. It's like, it's honestly, it just sounds like, it sounds so, the story, it's honestly sounds fake. Like, when I tell the story, it sounds like something made up because of how ridiculous it is. But no, this is very much a real thing that happened. It was just such a stupid conflict. Professional and cheap taco man will save America. Thank you, Own Titan. And let me answer, let me answer, Cringe Name's, question. I'm sorry, Cringe Name. I saw your comment. I was just talking about that story there before. If I became a world leader any part of the world, what changes would you make? I'll tell you, if I was like president of the United States, what I would probably do is I would probably cut the government, most of the government. I would probably, I would end all contracts with the military-industrial complex. I would end all of that. I would shut down a huge ton of the government agencies. I would probably shut down 70% of the government. You know, I probably would shut down the CIA, the ATF, the IRS are, you know, agencies that I would probably abolish. I would probably abolish, like, the federal income tax, and what I would do is I would replace it with a sales tax, where every single thing that you buy in the country is like a 1% tax to the federal government. I would close down a lot of the military bases, like, around the world. So I would just reduce the size of the government by just so much. But here's the thing is that somebody like me, like ideas like that, somebody like that would never become president, never, because like both parties would never like you know, allow somebody like that to become president. So I think that the only president in the world that I know that is actually making an attempt to actually cut the government right now and shrink the government is Javier Milei, who's the president of Argentina, and his reforms are working. They are working. He's cut so many government agencies, and like the government the inflation is starting to go down. So I don't think that personally, like, the U.S. government is so big and powerful, and there's so many, like, important people in Washington that I don't think that, like, I would ever get close to the White House anyways. Wouldn't a VAT tax cause a higher percentage of income lost by lower and mid-income earners? I don't really think a 1% sales tax, because think about it this way, like, you know, what would you rather have? Would you rather have, like, an income tax, or would you rather have, like, a 1% sales tax on everything? Because I would honestly prefer to, I would prefer to have, like, a 1% sales tax on everything. I think that if you had a 1% sales tax, federal government, on everything that you buy, I think that could fund the government. I think that if you close down all these stupid government agencies, and you close down all these military bases that you have in other countries, and you stop giving out money to so many other countries, I think that you could, fund the government with a sales tax, and I think you could also fund the government through tariffs, because back in the day when the United States was first formed as a country, most of the income that we got from tariffs. Tariffs pay trade taxes. Foreign countries would pay most of the taxes for our country. So that is really where it was. So honestly, when you think about it, like, would you rather, like, pay a 1% tax on everything that you buy, or deal with, like, an annoying income tax at the end of the year? I'd rather just, you know, pay 1% tax on everything that I, everything that I buy, and then I don't have to deal with an income tax at the end of the year, and I can make as much money as I want, and the government isn't going to punish me for making more money. So that's, what about property tax? Would you abolish that? I would leave property tax to the states. Because the federal government does not have the ability to regulate state property taxes. So I would leave, if I was the president, I would leave that to the states. But in my personal opinion, I would like to abolish property taxes. I think that property taxes I don't think property taxes should exist. I think they're stupid. I don't think that they're because to me, the way that I see it personally is a property tax is like paying rent to the government. That's really what you think of. You're paying rent for your property. So you don't really own your property, do you? Because if you don't pay the property tax, what happens? The government takes your property if you don't pay the property tax. So that's what I don't, it's like, imagine working so hard, working your entire life to get a really nice property, your dream house, and your property taxes just keep going up every year, and you can't afford it, the dream house that you've worked for your entire life. That's why I think property taxes are stupid. That's really what I'll say about it. So I would leave it up to the states, but I think that personally it should be abolished. I think property tax should be abolished, and I think it should be, you know, gotten rid of. And here's the thing is, though, is if you got rid of property tax, do you know what would happen? Rent across the country would lower everywhere. because the main reason for high rents is property taxes. That is the main reason. That's what the media never talks about it. I notice the media never seems to blame property taxes for the high rents, but property taxes are a huge reason for it. Because, like, for example, I'll give you guys an example. My parents, you know, live in Nassau County, which is the most taxed county. I think it's one of the most taxed counties in America. It might be the most taxed county of all time, which is, you know, it's a county that's in it's in Long Island, New York. Now, about Nassau County, do you know what the property tax for my parents' home is? The property tax for my parents' home is $18,000 a year. That is the property tax on my parents' home. It's $18,000 a year. And you're probably, what the hell? Are you living in like a palace or a mansion? No, I'm not. You know, my parents live in a 4-bedroom, 1950s, middle-class house. And that is the property tax that they have to pay. That. Imagine that, like $18,000. Now, think about it this way. Think about if I was to rent that house. Like, if I was a landlord, right? And I wanted to rent that house out to somebody, right? How much am I gonna charge in rent? If the property taxes is $18,000 a year for the house, I have to charge something where I'm gonna make more money than the property tax. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose money. There's no point in having a property tax if there's no point in having the rent lower than the property tax because I'm gonna lose money. I'm not gonna make anything from it. So a businessman needs to make money. A landlord needs to make money as well. So that's what I'll say about it, is that the property taxes are so out of control, they're too high, and if you were to lower the property taxes or abolish them, you would have much more reasonable rents. Landlords would be competing more, and you would have much more, you know, lower rents. But, like, think about it, like, if everybody in a neighbor, let's do an even number, right? An even number. That, let's just say $10,000. $10,000 is the property tax for a 4-bedroom house in the same neighborhood. Now, if $10,000 a month, or a year, I'd say, $10,000 a year is the property tax for a 4-bedroom house. What's going to happen is that every single landlord in that neighborhood is going to need to make more than $10,000 in order to make up the amount that they're putting in their property tax. So how much are they going to charge? They're probably going to charge $2,000. Probably $2,000 or probably more than that, I would say. So they're going to want at least probably double their money. So if $18,000 for a house, like, and $18,000 for, like, a house in my parents' house, $18,000, you know, how much rent would you have to charge? You'd have to charge probably, like, $3,000 or more, probably that. So that's what I would say, is that the property taxes are just, too much. And also is the landlord has to cover other expenses for themselves. They have to cover, you know, expenses for the house, and they have to cover their income and other stuff like that. So, I own a rental property, by the way, or 2 rental properties, but I'm not a scumbag. I always take care of my tenants, and I always help my tenants whenever they need. And I don't raise the rent on my tenants either. I always keep the rent the same. So that's so that's what I say is the only time I would have to raise the rent is if property taxes go up, and I really hope they don't. But that's a really horrible thing that happens, is that, unfortunately, is that property tax, it gets pushed on the landlord, and then that gets into pushing on the tenants. So I think that if you abolish property taxes, I think that you could have very low rent. Yes, I think that it would help reduce homelessness. Yes, and let me actually look this up right now. I'm curious. I'm curious here in I'm curious in my parents' neighborhood how much houses are renting for. How much are houses renting for? My God. Oh my God. So I'm looking at my parents' neighborhood, my parents' neighborhood in Long Island, and the same types of houses as my parents are renting for $5,000 a month. That's ridiculous. That's $60,000 a year that the landlord is making from those properties. But can I even check what the property taxes on this property are? No, for some, it's not telling me on here. But yeah, that's what I'll say is the property taxes are just, yeah, they're just bad. They're out of control. They're stupid. Let's see. My parents' house is worth like close to $1 million. That's the crazy thing is, and like I said, my parents don't live in a mansion or a palace. They live in like a you know, a 4-bedroom house from the 1950s. So I would say that property taxes are like a huge reason for this stupidity. It's so out of control. It's dumb. Okay, and I'm looking at my parents' property taxes. I made one mistake, guys. I said that it was $18,000. It's $16,000 a year, so I made one mistake. But that's still $16,000 a year. That is a ridiculous thing. So just think about that. Is that when you really think about that, a landlord is going to be charging more than the property tax. So think about all the states that have really low, you know, really low rent, right? All the states that have really low rent. What do those states typically have? Very low property taxes. So the states that have very low property taxes typically have very low rents. Typically, if there is a correlation between the two. But for some reason, I don't know why, because like as a landlord, personally for me, it just baffles me. Like when I watch the media, and like the media says, oh, you know, there aren't enough homes. That's what the number one thing I see when I watch the media, and the media says, oh, there aren't enough homes. That's why the rent is so high. I'm like, no. I'm like, you could definitely build more homes. That would help. But here's the thing is, if you build more homes, that's not going to lower the rent if the property taxes are already through the roof. The property taxes are so insanely high. Even if you build more homes, that's not going to lower the rent because the property taxes are so high that the landlord needs to make more than the property taxes. So that is what I will say about that, is that the number one reason for the high rents is property taxes. If you have lower property taxes, it helps everyone. Having lower property taxes helps people buy homes, live in homes, helps the landlord also, and also helps tenants. So everybody wins. Homeowners win because they're able to buy the house of their dreams without having to worry about property taxes. Landlords win because, you know, they're able to charge more affordable rates for rent, and also tenants win because they get, you know, lower rents. So honestly, property taxes cause way more problems in the market than people think they do. The only other factor that I can think of that does cause causes rent to be high is when you are renting in like a very desired area. Like if you are renting like a building in like the middle of Manhattan, for example, in like a really popular area, rent is going to be higher just by default, even if property taxes was to be lower because it's a very popular area. But most landlords don't have a rental that's like in a very popular area. Personally, I saw your video, fan YouTuber, since your first Boba Fett video, 2015. Thank you, Ancient Reaper. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, man. Yeah, so like, you know, this is the thing that I don't understand. This is the one thing I don't understand is like when people are saying, oh, people are saying like, tax the rich, tax the rich. Here's the thing about it is, if you wanna raise taxes on like billionaires and people like that, I really could care less. But if you want to raise taxes on like just regular millionaires, I don't think that that's a good idea. Because a lot of times they run businesses and it's not going to help, and they're going to probably put the cost of their tax onto the consumer. That's at least what I think. So, and here's the thing is, not all millionaires are like scumbags. And for people wondering, no, I'm not a millionaire. But it's like, not all millionaires are scumbags. It's like people think that just because like people think that somebody has like a few $1 million that they're like greedy or something like that, or they exploited somebody. It's like, no, so maybe somebody just started up a business and they're, successful in their life. So I would say that like the millionaires are not hurting the economy. They're not, causing the problems. The people that are causing the problems are the really, really wealthy elites. We're talking about people that have billions of dollars. Those are the people that cause problems. Not like, the average millionaire that has like a few $1 million. So for the people that always say, tax the rich, I would just say to them, why not, instead of just taxing the rich, we lower everyone's taxes? Everyone just gets a tax break. We lower taxes. Why don't we do that instead? Because then you have more money in your pocket. Because, like, putting more higher taxes on rich people does not put more money in your pocket. It doesn't help you get more money. Lowering taxes does help put more money in everyone's pocket and helps people spend more money, and that ultimately helps the economy more. So that's just my view. Believe what you want, but that was just my view personally about it. Renting is a waste of money. Not necessarily. I think that I think that renting does definitely have its pros and cons. Like if you want to go to an area but you're not sure whether you want to live there, renting is a perfect way to see what the does crime lower property tax? Not really. It more lowers the property value, not the property tax, which if the property value goes down, technically I guess the property tax could go down too then with it, maybe. But it really depends. And here's the thing about it with when Avery Carrington says that a gang war is the best way to lower prices of property. When you really think about it, he's not wrong, because as messed up as it is, if a gang war started in a neighborhood, property prices would go down by a lot because nobody wants to buy property in a place that has tons of gang wars. In this show, Cheapskates, there is a millionaire that feeds her friends cat food just to save 30 cents. Yes, I know about that, Warwick, and I actually saw that episode. I actually watch Extreme Cheapskates. I've actually watched most of the episodes, so I've seen a lot of the episodes before. But about Extreme Cheapskates, the woman who was in that, I know it was the Las Vegas woman. So there was this Las Vegas woman who was a millionaire, and she's very rich. She lives in a mansion in Las Vegas. And the thing, and this woman, despite her being a millionaire, and she could buy almost anything that she wants, she could really buy. But despite her being able to buy almost anything, she is so cheap. If you want to know how cheap she is, she buys cat food, and she eats cat food, because she says that she saves money eating cat food instead of regular food. And this is on TV, this is not fake, this is real, this is what this woman does. She eats cat food sandwiches, so she buys bread and just puts cat food on the sandwiches, and says that she's just, saving money, so she doesn't have to buy, other stuff. She has only one sponge that she washes all of her dishes with for years. And that sponge is, nasty. It's, moldy and crap. It's disgusting. And she says, oh, I don't need a new sponge. So that's disgusting. But here's the ridiculous thing about this. What she does is, her house, when she goes to sleep in her house, she turns off the fuse boxes. So when she goes to sleep, she just turns off all the fuses in the house, just because she says that's a couple more cents when she's sleeping, that there's electricity running through the house. So she turns everything off in the house. She even turns off the hot water in the house too. And what happens is her ex-husband, when he's actually come over to the house and he's taking a shower, he's screaming when he goes into the shower because it's just pure cold water, and he forgot that his greedy ex-wife literally turned off the water heater, so it's just nothing but just cold water. And this woman, not only is she extremely cheap, but she's extremely scummy as well. She's really scummy because what she does is, when her friends come over for food, she feeds her friends cat food. It's just disgusting. But also, her ex-husband. Her ex-husband is a really nice guy. And her ex-husband, I think her ex-husband is the source of the money. That's what I think. I think that's where he got, I think that's where most of her money comes from. I think it's her ex-husband. Because her ex-husband gave her the house. He didn't argue with her. When he divorced her, he gave her the house. So he gave her a mansion. And not only that, the ex-husband comes over to the house and he cleans it for her. So he cleans the house for her. And a lot of people, when I look at the video, a lot of people in the comments are like, why is he cleaning her house for her? And I'll tell you why he's cleaning her house for her. The reason he's cleaning her house for her is because he still loves her. That's why. That's what's the unfortunate thing. He still loves her, and he's hoping that she will, marry him again. That's why. So he gave her the house. He comes to her house, cleans her, but she's taking advantage of him. She literally took his mansion. She's, and he's cleaning her house for her. And she doesn't marry him back again. So that's, so I think that, he should cut his ties, honestly, and just move on. But he's still in love with her. That's the unfortunate thing. But the story gets worse. This woman apparently says that she makes all of her income from rental properties. And I own 2 rental properties. But I'm never cheap with my rentals. I care about the well-being and health of my tenants. And so whenever there's anything wrong with my property, anything whatsoever, I always fix it. I always get right on it. I'm not cheap. I don't delay stuff like that. I always get right on it. I don't charge my tenants for that. I do it out of my own pocket. But I cannot imagine how cheap she is with her rental properties. That her rental properties are probably all broken down. They're probably in terrible condition. Nobody is like, when the tenants complain about anything, she probably makes them fix it. So I can't imagine how cheap she is with that. But the situation gets crazier. She had to go to Los Angeles for like some kind of business meeting. I think she was going to buy a house in Los Angeles. And so she was going to drive to Los Angeles from Las Vegas instead of flying, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. You do save a bit of money. But the problem is she went into a mechanic for an inspection. She drives an old Mustang, Ford Mustang car. The old Ford Mustang car, it's broken down. It's broken down. It's, falling apart. It's not in great... I'm not a mechanic, but I can even see that there's crap wrong with the car. And the mechanic told her that this car is not safe to be on the road. And he said that according to Nevada state law, I have to hold on to this car until you fix it. And he told her this is like a few $1,000s in repair. And she's like, oh, no, you're trying to scam me and everything like that. But if you just look at the car is in such terrible state. And she starts yelling at the mechanics, telling them to release their car, everything like that. But that was in Nevada state law. The mechanic was doing following the law, what he had to do. And so the woman was so cheap that she just left her car there with the mechanic. What she did was she went to an airport. And when she went to the airport, she went to walked on the airfield, and she started, annoying the pilots at the hangars, the private pilots, and, demanding, a free ride to Las Vegas, a free ride to Los Angeles. And there was, one pilot where she just kept talking to him, okay, can you please give me a ride? Can you give me a ride to Los Angeles? And the pilot's like, okay, I'll give you a ride. And so he literally flew her in his private plane to Los Angeles for free. So literally, that is, one of the cheapest people that I've ever seen in my life, one of the greediest people that I've ever seen in my life. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And if you want to watch this video that I'm telling you about, go on YouTube and just look up Las Vegas cheap millionaire. It should come up. It's such a ridiculous, let me see what the name of the video is if you guys want to watch it. Las Vegas cheap millionaire. Let's see here if it comes up. Okay, yeah, so just type in Las Vegas cheap millionaire. It's the first thing that comes up. It has 8 million views. It's called the world cheapest millionaire, and that is that's that, yeah. Okay, let me go and let's go play a little poker. And I'll tell you guys something else. What is it here? Hang on, where's the mounting thing? As cheap as that woman was, right? She was really cheap. There's actually people that have it looks kind of like she has blonde hair. It's called the world's cheapest millionaire. If you just look up the world's cheapest millionaire, it will come up. It's 8 million views. It's from TLC. But here's the thing is, that woman is not like I wanted to do videos, crazy current event videos on that show before, but when I tried to do crazy current event videos on that, reacting to that and giving my thoughts in a video, it got copyrighted every single time, which was unfortunate because I was reacting to it. But there are actually worse people on that show than her. Even though she is really scummy, there's actually far worse people than her. There was this one woman who, she is so cheap that her boyfriend wants to bring over his friends to watch football. And she says, if you bring over friends, I have to feed them and I have to pay for their food. That's what she was saying. And this was on live TV too. So this woman is even worse than that millionaire cheap woman. And she's so cheap that what she does is she uses the same boiling water for days. So whenever she cooks, she doesn't dispose of the boiling water when she's done cooking. She uses the same boiling water for days. And she's like, oh, I boil it, it's good. It kills the bacteria, it's fine. So she will use the same boiling water for days, which is disgusting. And the other thing is, when she goes to the store, she looks for expired meat. So she buys expired meat specifically, and what she does is she demands discounts. She finds expired meat specifically in the store, and she says, oh, this meat is expired, give me a discount on it. That's what she does. And so she buys expired meat. She reuses boiling water. The story gets even more disgusting. What she does is, when she goes into a supermarket and when she's buying bananas and grapes, do you know what she does? She peels the bananas in the store. So she peels the bananas, and she just puts the bananas in her bag, and she says that's saving her money, because when she puts it on the scale, she's not buying the peel, she's only buying the banana. So she's so cheap that she peels the bananas, and what she does is, she peels the grapes too. She gets all the grapes off the vines, and she says, I don't need the vines. They put extra weight on, and it's, you know, more money. And so, there's a video on YouTube, when she goes in the supermarket, she's peeling the bananas, just putting it in her bag, peeling the grapes, putting it in her bag, and you know what's happening is, all the people in the supermarket are just staring at her, like, all the people like, what the hell are you doing? Like, they're all just staring, they're all just staring at her. So, what ends up happening is, she takes that expired meat, and she decides to make lasagna with it. And she's so cheap, that what she does is, she takes the lasagna, right? And she, with that expired meat, she wraps it in aluminum foil, and she puts the lasagna in the dishwasher while she's washing dishes with soap, with detergent in there. And you're probably thinking, what? Why? According to her, that she can reheat the lasagna while the dishwasher is cooking, while the dishwasher is washing. So she says the dishwasher gets really hot, and so because of that, she can cook the lasagna at the same time. And she fed the guests that dishwasher lasagna with expired meat. And the guests said it tasted like soap. That's what they said it tasted like. So she fed them that. But the story gets even worse, guys. It gets even worse. Because what she did was, during the football game, when they were watching football in her apartment, whenever there was a commercial, do you know what happened during the commercial? She would cut the fuses to the house, to the apartment. Because she said, you don't need to watch TV during the commercial because it's costing me more money. So she would also cut the fuses to the house when they're watching football, so everything would just go dark. And you know what she would do? She would make her guests walk around the house with candles. So she gave her like it's like a medieval like house or something like that. She gave the guests in the house candles because she said she doesn't want to use the lights because it's too much money. So literally, this is to the point where this is like a mental illness. It's like some kind of disorder or something. I don't know what to classify it as. I'm not a healthcare professional. Maybe somebody in the comments knows what it is. But it's like when you're so obsessed with saving money to the point when you're like endangering the health of others, like you're so obsessed with saving money that you're doing crap like that, there has to be something wrong. Like I don't know maybe somebody in the comments knows what that would be called, but there has to be something like mentally there has to be something wrong there. Like that you're that obsessed with saving money that it's like to that point. And the thing is though, the way that my parents raised me, is my parents taught me to always save money. But my parents told me the two things you never save money on. My mom and dad both taught me this. They taught me it's always good to save money. But the two things you never save money on are your health and food. Health and food are the two things you never want to save money on. That's what my parents always taught me. You never be cheap on your health and food. That's the two things you never want to be cheap on. And that's what I say about that. Obsessive disorder, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, and guys, I didn't even tell you the worst part of this story. Do you know what the worst part of this story is? About this woman who heats up the lasagna with dishwasher and buys expired meat, reuses boiling water. You know what the worst part of the story is? It's what she does for a living. You know what she does for a living? She works for a doctor. That's what she does. So imagine that. She works for a doctor, and she practices all those unsanitary methods. She works for a doctor. Imagine that. I pray that she's not a nurse. I pray that she's not a nurse because I would not want to be near her if she's a nurse. In general, the percentage of property tax in India varies between 5 to 20%. Is local property tax be paid every year? Yes, local property tax has to be paid on a yearly basis, huh? Makes me miney blush, huh? Oh no, I haven't seen that one, Pro 193. There's a luxury penthouse in Thailand that costs $300 a month. Really? Why is it only $300 a month? Okay, ace and 2. What are your thoughts on extreme couponing? My thoughts on extreme couponing is it's fine to save money. It's fine to like take advantage of it. Like whenever I go to the store, whenever I go to Walmart, I do use coupons. But do you know what I use? I use Ibotta. If anybody knows Ibotta, it's like that app that you can it gives you like deals on certain things, like a few dollars off on a certain item you might buy. So what I do on Ibotta is I log into Ibotta and I just look for stuff that I'm gonna buy anyways, like ice cream or maybe cookies or maybe like chicken or some frozen foods, and I'll see like, is there like anything in here that I'm gonna buy anyways, and I'll just like apply that. Saves me a few bucks every time, but it's not like to the point where I'm like obsessed, oh, I'm gonna win this, I'm definitely gonna win this. Yep, there we go. But like, here's the thing is, if you are coming into like a store, right, and you're coming into a store with like an entire coupon book, right, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous, and that's stupid, because I'll tell you something. I couldn't stand the customers that would come in with like 100 coupons. I couldn't stand that, and most other customers couldn't stand it either. But you know what I will tell you is, most customers are idiots in this situation, because I'll tell you this. I never understood this, but when I worked in retail, right, and I had like a customer that really took their time, and they had like 100 coupons to give me, and they had like a massive order, the people that were behind them online never got pissed at the person who was couponing. They instead got pissed at me. I never understood that. I always had that happen, where like the people that were extreme couponing, coming in with like 100 coupons, they would never get pissed at me, at them. They would get pissed at me and be like, hurry up, why are you taking so long? Like, they would just get mad. It's like, do you not see this person has like 200 coupons? It's like, why don't you tell them to hurry up? It's like, I never understood that, like, why the customers were so stupid that they would always get pissed at me and never at the person who was bringing in all the coupons. That was just always ridiculous. Yes, I was blamed, Mario. What happened? See you gameplay this Sunday. See Agent Reaper. Hey, Pro, have you watched the TV show Forensic Files? I don't think I have. Is it a detective show, Dennis? Thank you for the super chat. Yes, I have seen... Here's the thing about this is... In retail, I saw people, like extreme couponers in retail, and I saw them come into stores with literally like 100 coupons. I'm not exaggerating. Like, they have like a folder. They get a folder out, and they have all these coupons clipped together. And do you know what the most annoying thing about that is? The most annoying thing about that is when one coupon doesn't work. When one coupon doesn't work and you tell them this coupon doesn't work, they create such a fuss. They will just create such an argument. Like literally, they are getting like hundreds of dollars off, and they will just complain over just like a single dollar, like this coupon not working. Like that's how cheap they are. It's just ridiculous. It's dumb, but they will do crap like that. I've always been annoyed by stuff like that. Yeah, they will complain, and it'll be annoying. And I'll tell you this, I've seen people that literally buy like $200 worth of stuff and only pay like $5 for it. I've actually seen people do that. What is he doing? Is he going to show his card? Yes, there we go. Look at that. Okay. Okay, we won. We won really good here. You seen the new Fallout show? No, I haven't, Jonathan. Can you scan it again? Yeah, that's what they always say too.
Oh, this ain't good.
But the other thing about the people who spam coupons, the other thing that I'll say about them, what is it here? Oh yeah. Do you know what I noticed about the coupon people? The coupon people are almost always driving Mercedes cars. That's what I know. It's like the people who like literally are so cheap with coupons, they usually are driving the cheapest car, the most expensive car out there. That's what I noticed about them. Well, I would say retail in general anywhere anomalous, but at least in European countries, when you work in retail, you can at least sit. That's what I'll say. You can at least sit down. You can't sit in America. Hey, Pro, it's Ananda. Did you know that in India in World War II sent over 2.5 million soldiers to fight under British command against Axis powers, and my uncle works in retail too? And India was a very large India was a very large fighting force in World War II, and I think India had the most amount of soldiers in World War I also. I think so. Wow, look at these hands. Look at these hands that I'm getting here. Okay. I've gotten an ace like 3 times in a row at this point. It's like I've gotten so lucky. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at this hand right now. Guys, look at this. It's like three ace hands in a row. Okay, hang on. So we can get people to bet more money. I'm about to win a huge pot here. There we go. Look at this. Okay, I have doubled my money in just a few minutes. I'm leaving here. Once you do really good, you want to get up and leave, just so you don't lose.
Good to see you, mister.
What's the pettiest customer I've ever had? Oh, I'd have to think about that. I don't know, dude. I'd have to think about it. Did I go to college? Yes, I did. But it didn't really... College didn't really help me much, that's what I'll tell you. Honestly, do you want to know the only thing that college does help me with? College helped me sometimes when I make lore videos talking about criminals. Sometimes that helped me because I went to school for criminal justice. So, like, describing different criminal gangs, sometimes for, like, videos for that, it helps me. It helped me, but other than that, it didn't really help me much. I remember Penguin Z spent 3 hours to win a poker match against some random NPC from Rhodes. Is there cheap couponing in McDonald's? A little bit, but you can't really coupon like spam in McDonald's like you can in some of these other places. I guess it's just the way Vito reacted, Guilted. I could, Max. Well, just know, college is whatever you make of it, Angel. If you think it'll truly help you, but just don't think that it's necessary also. You know, the thing I'll say about Domino's is Domino's has really good customer service. They really do. Because with Domino's, a couple weeks ago, I ordered a pizza from Domino's. And what happened was the pizza was delivered like an hour late. It was still warm. It just took them some time to make it and deliver it. I guess they had a lot of orders. But the pizza that was delivered like an hour late What they did, I didn't really care that much that it was delivered an hour late. It wasn't a big deal for me because I was just working on videos at that time, so it didn't really matter that the pizza was delivered an hour late for me. But anyways, even though the pizza was delivered an hour late, Domino's gave me an offer for like a free large pizza. So like next time I order, I get a free large pizza. That's what they gave me. That's that store that I ate from. So that was really good customer service that they did that. They know how to keep a customer. I didn't really care much that the pizza was late an hour long, but I really appreciated that they did that for me. I didn't even ask for it. They just gave it to me. Hey Pro, it's Ananda. I wanted to ask something. Is college good? What did you study in college about? Should I go to college too for my higher studies? I studied criminal justice. I graduated in law enforcement tech. Here's the thing is, college is whatever you make of it. If you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you need to go to college. But there are plenty of other jobs that you could do without going to college that could pay you also really well. So you can start up a business. You can try to start up a business. You don't need to go to college for that. So there's plenty of ways to yeah, there's plenty of ways to make money, but I would tell you, Ananda, is don't listen to the people that tell you that you need college and you're gonna be a failure if you don't do it. Because I know people in real life that like believe that. They believe that like, oh, if you don't go to college, you're a failure, and they look down on people who don't go to college. They look it down on them like they're idiots or something like that. Well, you know, the thing I'll say about that is I don't have anything against people that went to college. I went to college myself, but honestly speaking, I can't understand how somebody who went to college can look down on somebody who didn't go to college and think they're an idiot when the person who went to college is probably like thousands of dollars in debt. So that's what I don't know how they can justify calling somebody like that stupid. Personally, I'm not saying that people that go to college are stupid, but I'm just saying it's kind of hypocritical for me when I see somebody calling somebody who didn't go to college stupid, but then at the same time they're like thousands and thousands of dollars in debt in like college. You're not a millionaire, but have you made a million? Think about that. Before taxes, probably, yeah. Yeah, probably. I have in my time, in like years. But not, but no, I never had like that much money at once, no. Thank you for the super chat, regular dude. So yeah, I guess I've made that money, a single million over time, a long time, but I've never like, but it just, taxes take so much, and this is like, we're talking over like, you know, something that's like a 8-year period, you know. What about going to university? Well, and here's the thing, in America, college and university are kind of really the same thing. We kind of call them both the same thing. No, Chaz, I'm not like Mr. Krabs. To be honest, the people who, a lot of these players who hate people who didn't go to college come down to credentialism and probably a bit of narcissism. It's kind of a status thing, I think. Yeah, probably that. Well, it's gonna be talking about Claude's personality in general, Runav, and like, you know, what kind of person he is. When will we play Ghost Recon Wildlands? Sometime later this year. That's what the hell? Oh, seriously, come on, dude. What, I didn't even do anything to you. Come on, seriously. I think he's gone, yeah. I think he, I think he's gone here. Can't find him now. You know, I'll tell you something. In all my time on Reddit Online, there has only been one time that I raged on this game. In like my entire 6 years of playing this game, or I should say 5.5 years, there's only really been one time that I've raged on this game. Only one time. It wasn't on camera. It was just me playing off stream. But the reason that I raged is because it was like right when the game came out, and what happened was back then when the game came out, you made most of your money through hunting, and if you died, all of your pelts would be lost. So like I hunted like 30 deer, sheep, you know, all the other stuff. I had so many pelts on my horse and like a carcass and all the other stuff. And right when I was about to go to the butcher in Blackwater and sell it, some idiot shot me in the face with a bow and arrow. I was pissed. Like I spent like half an hour hunting, and just for some idiot to just kill me and just ruin like my entire hunt. You know what I did? I got so annoyed. I lassoed the guy and I threw the guy in the water right near Blackwater. That's like what I did because I was so pissed about that. I am Zombie Fanatic. And back then, do you know a handgun was $5,000 in Reddit Online back then when the game came out? I'm not even joking. That's how much it cost. The thing is, high school diplomas only qualify you for, wait, what, Chaz? What do you mean? Wasn't there a guy who trolled a charity stream you did once? Yes. But I wasn't really raging during that. I was more, like, upset. I was like, you know, why are you doing this during a charity stream? There was like a guy, yeah, that's when Reddit first came out. That's how much they cost. Like, I think it was, I would have to look it up. Let me look up the original prices. Let me look up original gun prices. Let's see, what was the, Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. I said too much. Not $1,000. The Mauser was $1,000 in this game, like the Mauser pistol. But if you used to make $2 per mission. The thing is, high school diplomas qualify you for retail, fast food, and warehouse jobs. My parents told me they need to go to college to get a better careers out there and get out of that life. Well, why don't your parents advocate you going to trade school? Because trade school, you get an education, and you learn a trade. Like, for example, you could go to trade school and learn to be a plumber, and they'll teach you how to be a plumber. They'll teach you everything you need to know about it, and plumbers make good money. You know, you fix a lot of stuff that people need. You deal with a lot of expensive parts, which means you'll probably make a lot of money too. And you could learn for like a plumbing company, work for a plumbing company for some time, and then eventually start your own plumbing business and make a ton of money from that. So there's like plenty of like there's plenty of like careers that you could do too. Shut up and stay in the car, Roman. Let the big boys do the talking. I remember that's from GTA 4 when Nico confronts Vlad. My parents told me plumbers need to work 2 jobs. Well, your parents are wrong. I'm sorry to say. I'm not mean no disrespect, dude, but it's like plenty of plumbers make a lot of money. Oh, that guy. I guess that guy's gone. I don't see him here anymore. South Park roasted people who don't know jack about home improvements. I know, the one where Randy went to Home Depot, I think. Do you know what basically the purpose of that was? Like, the purpose of that was, what that was making fun of, that these people, like, there was, like, a lawyer, a doctor, you know, all of those people, and those people, you know, they have these high education jobs, but they don't know how to do simple things around the house. That's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Tony. I do think, but, like, plumbing is only an example of only one job. There's plenty of jobs you can go to trade school and learn for. I mean, you can learn being an electrician. They make good jobs, too. I know you were going to make an India, so I want to contribute your videos, too, by giving you points. Well, I'm going to be having 2 videos on that. Eventually, when I get to my video on Sniper Elite, you know, I'm going to be talking about, like, the swastika in India in my, you know, Sniper Elite, you know, World War II video, and I'll talk about how, like, how the swastika has existed in India for, like, you know, thousands of years, and it's originally a symbol of peace, but the Nazis took it and twisted it into something, you know, much worse. But I'll talk about that, how people don't know about the original symbol in India, and eventually I'll make a video also talking about, like, you know, talking about, like, the scam call centers, and, like, how that's not the fault of Indians, and that, like, because, like, there's a lot of people that think that, like, all these call centers are in India, which is just not true. But I'm gonna make, like, a video talking about that and explaining that, and, like, you know, what people can do to stop those call centers as well. But yeah, like, a lot of people have, like, this misconception about India with that regard. It's not true. Welders do make a lot of money, yeah. My whole family went to college. I feel like it would be shame for being the first person in the family that never went to college. It's just Asian society. Most Asians go to university. Well, here's the thing is, DK Mach, if you want to go to college, go ahead, dude. You know, I'm not saying don't. The thing that I'm saying to you is that college is not necessary. That's what I'm just saying to you, is that if there's, like, a job that you want, if you want to be, like, a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, go ahead, go to college. It'll help you. But if there are plenty of careers that you don't need, you know, go to college for. Now, I mean, you look at me too. Like, I went to college for, you know, criminal justice, law enforcement technology. I didn't end up doing any of that. You know, I worked in retail for 6 years. I wasn't kind of happy in that job, but I did end up doing really well on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel ended up taking off, and that's what I basically do is, like, full time for it now. You know, that's and I also own, like, you know, I also own 2 rental properties, so, you know, I think I'm doing fine, but it's it really depends what, because I'll tell you something, sometimes going to college can be a giant waste of money. My half-brother, for example, he did a really stupid thing. He went to college, but he went to college in Poland. And you know what he went to college for? He went to college for philosophy. That's what he went. He went for college for years in philosophy. And then do you know what happened when he got out of college? All he did was complain that he can't find a job anymore. He's like, nobody's hiring. I can't find a job anymore. It's like, well, you went to college for philosophy. Like, you know, what did you expect? But that's really what my half-brother did. It was a stupid thing that he went to college for, and he was just complaining that he can't find a job anymore. But it's like, I don't know anywhere that's hiring for philosophy, honestly. The only thing I could think of is for philosophy is like if you're, like, writing a book, maybe it'll help you, or if, like, maybe you're trying to talk about a documentary or something like that. But, like, just going simply for philosophy is just... Well, it depends, Zombie Fanatic. It depends on the place you go to. Bro, you've been ignoring me on PSN. No, Mark, I get, like, hundreds of messages. Like, it's like I get messages on Skype, Twitter, like, I get text messages in real life, I get messages on PlayStation. There's just so much stuff, like, I can't reply to everybody's message at once. Let me see here, yes, I use Skype. I'm in college, but it's been hard finding jobs in the tech industry for recent layoffs and hiring freezes. I study computer science, but I just feel I'm at the wrong time. Well, what I would do is look up what jobs you can find that are high paying and don't require college education, because I'm sure that there's something that you can find. You can like find entire websites that are dedicated to this, and you can, I guess, better plan your career there. But like, I think the mistake that a lot of parents make is a lot of parents put this ideology into their kids that if they don't go to college, they're gonna be failures and that they're gonna suck and they're not gonna be anybody and they're not gonna make, they're not gonna make a lot of money. My mom was like that. My dad didn't really care that much, but my mom was like that. She was basically, I love my mom and everything, but she was just suggesting that if I didn't go to college, that I wasn't gonna, ever have that much money in life. I wasn't gonna do good, and so that was, yeah, that's what I'll say about that. Is like parents push that ideology on like a lot of their kids, and a lot of the kids end up believing it. Michael is actually Claude, and Ray Machowski is Lester. What? What's that, Sam? It is 2:02 a.m. right now for me. What about a high school diploma? Do you think they're necessary, or do you think a GED would suffice? I've been contemplating dropping out of high school. Don't drop out of high school. A high school education is always good to have. High school is free, so take it, do it, complete it. But like, college on the other hand isn't always necessary. That's what I'll say about it.
Good evening, sir.
DK Mock, are you still here, man?
Mama, would you move, please?
I'd probably go into trade school if things don't work out and I can't find a job in the tech industry. Hopefully my parents won't judge me for my fallback plan, but they might. And what I'll tell you also is that there are a lot of colleges. There are some colleges out there where you can get online degrees from them, and they're just as good as physical degrees. And these colleges, a lot of these colleges, they don't waste your time, and they don't make you take classes that you don't need. Like one of my friends, he is actually taking online classes for gunsmithing, which gunsmithing is basically learning about firearms, learning how to take them apart, build them, fix them, things like that. And in my country, at least, there's a demand for gunsmiths, so there's more of them needed, but it's not a common degree that people get in. And so that's a degree that I could see will definitely help my friend out, and will definitely help him, make a lot of money and possibly start his own business one day. But there are, there's, plenty of those degrees out there that people don't really bother with, but they, but they're out there and they're valuable. No, I haven't even attempted to Zombie Fanatic. Coursera? What's Coursera? No, I don't live in Colorado. Any advice for someone who doesn't want to go to college but also has no idea what career to choose?
Do you need something?
Honestly, that's hard. It's hard. It depends on it really depends. Like me, for example, I didn't know what I wanted to do for years, and it was eventually I just did good on YouTube, and that's what I wanted to do.
Well done on that last. Now sorry, I can't even thank you.
Evening, mister.
Well, community college is a more affordable version, yes.
Another one here for some money under the table, I assume. But don't be cluttering up the place.
Well, ultimately, DK Mach, I know you love your parents, but you ultimately gotta do what you want to do. So, whatever you want to do is what you should do in the end. That's what I'll say about it. I see your message about The Godfather Part 2. Wait, what? Don Ciccio's last words when Vito kills him are, "I've been to the bookstore?" What? I'm surprised I couldn't break that one, but... That's kind of crazy, because this is a oil lamp, that one. Ananda, what you can do is you can follow me on Twitter, or you can like leave a tweet on my last tweet on Twitter, and I'll follow you back, and then you can just message me whatever you want to there. Nothing much, Jacob. I'm gonna be ending the stream though, Jacob, in like a few minutes. I'm yeah, just been streaming for some time. Thank you, Jacob, for the super chat. No, Mr. Jock, I'm gonna fix my sleeping soon. Well, sad. It's look. Nobody's telling him that computer science is a bad degree. It's like the only thing we're saying is that don't believe that if you don't go to college, you're not gonna be successful. That's just what I'll say about it. Because like a lot of people think that for some reason. Don't tell him to join a trade. I'm not telling him to join a trade school. I'm just telling him what I personally think. He asked me a question, and so I'm just answering him and giving him what I personally think. He can do with my advice whatever he wants. And I don't want people to blindly follow my advice either. Just, just do whatever you want to do. But he just asked me for my opinion, so I just gave it to him. I'm actually going to do one Fallout lore video once I finish the main story up. No, I haven't tried Xmafind. I don't know, I'd focus it on businesses probably, Senator Armstrong. Yes, I did hear about that zombie fanatic. I'll see you, Mr. Jibbs. Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll be going here. Jacob, did you want to ask me any questions? Because I know you came in the stream kind of late. I do appreciate the super chat. I feel kind of bad that I'm ending here, but did you want to ask me any kind of question before I go? When is the Claude lore video coming out? Before the end of this month. It's always good to have a backup plan. Thank you, DK Mach. Yes, probably, but not in order, probably, Vito. My favorite Elder Scrolls game? Probably Oblivion. I loved Skyrim so much, but Oblivion always has a special place in my heart. I might one day, Gunner. The Blues Brothers, 1980, no. I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. I'm glad that I managed to get on the stream. I just wish my leg hadn't been broken. Oh, what happened, Jacob? Are you okay? I might, Imp. I might do it. On what platform do you play Kingdom Hearts 2? I played it on PC, but Blazkowicz, that's probably how you would pronounce it, but, that's how you pronounce it in Polish, at least. But well, but what happened, Jacob? Are you okay? Is everything fine? I think that Pearson is a I think Pearson is a broken character. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's more broken. And I'll do Call of Duty World War II this June on the anniversary of D-Day. I'll do it. There a Polish pronunciation for your name? Well, Patrick would be Patrick in Polish. But Jacob, what happened to your leg? Are you okay? Well, it's a different Call of Duty game, Mario. World War II is a different one than World at War, but... You know, in 1945, when his empire was collapsing, he was still convinced he was going to build it. If you ever watched the movie Downfall, there's actually a scene of that. Oh, what happened, Aki? The Orca case is kind of weird, Ricky. Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation. Ace Combat 6 is a great game. Some of the cutscenes were a bit cringy, but it was a great game. From 1 to 10, how historically accurate is the movie Downfall? I put 8 or 9. It's a pretty historically accurate movie. Now it is their land, their people, their blood. Reznov. Yep, that's actually the same name of the mission. I fell down some stairs and broke my leg 2 weeks ago. I spent 7.5 days in the hospital. My leg is still recovering. Oh man, that's horrible. I hope that you get better, and everyone please wish Jacob to get better here. I hope that you get better, Jacob, and I hope that you make a full recovery. I never played the Deus Ex games. You wanted to get a job as a beach assistant at a hotel, but they said that I don't have experience and I got refused. How are you supposed to have experience of being a beach assistant if you can't get hired as a beach assistant? That company sounds stupid anyways. I wouldn't worry about it, Aki. What RIP? The most innocent country in Strangariel in the Ace Combat series. The most innocent country in that series, I would say, is Ustio. Ustio is probably the most innocent country in the Ace Combat series. Companies that want young people to experience but don't actually want to give them the chance to gain experience. Stupidest logic, yep. They told me I needed to work from May till October 9, to May till October, 9 hours a day without a break, and I can't because I have entrance exams for college, and they were very rude. Well, working 9 hours without a break is illegal. That's, if you're in America, at least, you know, in pretty much every state has some form of break laws, and the vast majority of states are going to require some kind of breaks. That's ridiculous. Thank you, everyone. It means a lot. No problem, Jacob. Well, you know what Erusea is, Erusea is supposedly based on revolutionary France. So when it's a, but here's the thing about it is, Erusea in Ace Combat 4, gonna remember this, that Erusea calls itself a republic in Ace Combat 4. They had a revolution, they overthrew their king, and they called themselves a republic, but they're really a military dictatorship. And that is pretty much based on, it is based on revolutionary France, where revolutionary France called itself a republic, but it was really a dictatorship. What's your favorite Ghost Recon game? Wildlands. Pro, I'm actually preparing for an entrance exams for movie and TV shows. Direct screenwriter, basically a film college. Wish me luck. I hope everything goes good for you, Aki. So I'll be, I would say On Guard. Probably even worse than Dimitri's On Guard and Ace Attorney. But I'll be, I don't have any pets. I'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for watching the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you guys enjoyed the stream, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.